Last we left our heroes, within the city of Sigil, you sought to return an odd disc pulled from the rusted remains of Alfred, steward of the Alabaster Tower. Apparently it served as a binding contract between the wizard Mordenkainen and some unknown party, and was forged here in the halls of Concordance. Thus you made your way to return it and see what would come of that. As it turned out, it was a large anomaly, and you were rushed through to meet the Concordant in charge, where you were interrogated as to how you came to acquire it, what your role in this was, and ultimately your connection to Mordenkainen. You came to learn that the wizard had made a deal and had yet to fulfill his end of this bargain, something this automaton figure seemed intent to set right. And it seemed Mordenkainen and the deal still remained intact. Confirming his location in the cosmos, he did appear to be somewhere within the clerk's ward in Sigil. The Concordant turned to you and offered a deal of his own. Should you be able to bring Mordenkainen back to the hall to pay his due, then you would be rewarded. You conferred for a moment about what reward would be most beneficial, and ultimately deemed that it was that this figure could get you an audience with the Lady of Pain and get the Mercy Killers off your back in the immediate future. Then a deal could be struck. It seemed that this was something the Concordant deemed possible and give you a 48-hour clock to seek out the wizard and return him before setting his own hunters for him and your bargain forfeit. You were sent on your way and found your Mercy Killer babysitter stunned to learn you were free to leave of your own devices, and she departed on slightly insulted terms. Nonetheless, you were free to wander the city, and as you returned to the market ward with many options before you, it was deemed most prudent to get a start on Mordenkainen, on the hunt for Mordenkainen in the morning, and it will take several hours to make your way to the ward, to the clerk's ward, and who knows how long to find him within it. In the interim, you split up and had some interesting encounters of your own before reconvening in second chances for dinner and an early bed. Maintaining a watch for safety, Hondo set up first, however was met by your anarchist friend Horace, and swiftly bailed on his responsibilities in favor of meeting an anarchist trader and craftsman in the sewers. Here he did indeed meet and deal for a number of illicit and intriguing items, and made a deal with Horace for his services in seeking out the materials to craft a number of explosives for your arsenal before departing. Several hundred gold lighter, that is. As Hondo returns, the night does pass uneventfully, with a minor exception. I need everyone to make wisdom saving throws. Hondo.
This motherfucker.
Right off the top.
And Hondo? Jesus Christ.
What
did I do?
What, someone trying to scry?
Of course. Is this a charm effect?
12.
Give me 1 second. It might fall under charm, so Valentine, hold your horses.
Hold, please. Ooh.
It is not considered a charm.
Motherfucker.
Hondo.
Rolled a 12, and my wisdom save is +3, so 15.
15. Valentine.
8.
Okay. Alana.
13.
Okay. Mary.
24.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Gord.
24.
Woohoo. Okay. Alana. And Valentine.
Okay.
Oh.
As you guys are in your slumber in this rather comfortable bed, the position that you're in currently in this city is so weirdly on a fence of being constantly unsure and off your right foot, and yet oddly comforting at the same time. In this kind of intriguing, like you're in a city, you feel comfortable physically, and yet the kind of worries outside kind of plague your mind ever so slightly. But nonetheless, your sleep is restful. In it, you dream. But whatever dreams you may have had begin to kind of form. What do you consider your purpose in the city individually? And in this, I must say, there's no real deception to it. It's subconscious. What do you believe your purpose in this city is?
To make for Val, it would be like make contact with Lady of Pain, and I mean super transparent. Get Asmodeus' true name.
Okay. Allie, anything different or the same?
For her would be make contact with Lady of Pain as well, but her main focus would be making sure that all of her friends are okay and we all make it out alive, including Keith. That we're all okay.
Especially including Keith.
Especially including Keith. But yeah, that our livelihoods were okay, basically.
As you guys are sleeping, unbeknownst to one another, what it is you are both sleeping and dreaming about, when you do come to, there is the faintest for the moment as you're waking up, in the same way as with most dreams. You have the faint recollection of a dream of you were just on the tail end of a moment in your mind, and it was almost basically playing through the memories of your conversations with Mephistopheles, the plan, this element of seeking the true name, remembering standing in the cold of Mephistopheles' lair and in hell, and those conversations, though his face is obscured in that same kind of dream way where you can never quite match faces, but you can hear the voice and you know it to be Mephistopheles. But every now and again, some of the words are staticky. But it's almost, as you come to, it's just those memories of almost like reminding you what your purpose in the city is. Hondo, you return after your endeavors in the night. You find the place untouched. Everyone's still sleeping soundly. You return and lock the door behind you, and you complete your watch. You wake somebody to take the second, and you find your way to sleep. And in the wee hours, you too dream. And in your subconscious mind, in your truthful subconscious, how would you answer, or what would you think about if, when posed the question, what will you do with the true name of Asmodeus?
What will I do with it?
Mm-hmm.
I'd sell this information.
Do you want to know what? Do you want to know why the Wildcards wanted it, just in case you forget? Like, it's totally cool if that's what Hondo
It's supposed to go to the lady, right? We're supposed to bring this info to the lady.
You think you can get it from the ladies is what
okay.
What you've been told. You believe the lady to possibly possess that information as kind of this semi-omnipotent ruler of the city and seemingly older than time figure of history and lore. Yeah, you guys have been kind of put on the path to acquire this, to use it with the last word and stop Asmodeus from 10th layer of hell. That being said, if you truly believe that you would use that information, maybe not physically to sell it for gold, but to use it to benefit yourself, if you want to pose it in that way.
If only I had it, right? Like I somehow heard it and no one else knew about it, I might be able to, profit from it.
Okay.
Would the general have any use for it?
So, okay. You know what? There's a couple of interesting lines of thought that would spawn from the question posed, and that's totally fair.
Remember, I just came back from a deal. I'm in a deal-making mood.
That's totally fair.
And you're fresh from a insane orgy. Your mind's been blown.
Yeah, and I'm exhausted. Yeah, I'm
you're no water in you at all. Just so dehydrated.
You still have not had a drink of water. It's troubling. Okay, it's good to know. As you come to in the morning, in the same way that I described to Allie and Valentine, almost like waking from a dream that you still have the bits and pieces of in your waking mind, it almost immediately ebbs away in the same way all dreams sort of do. You can't quite grasp it long enough to really keep hold of the imagery and the ideas and what it meant. You reflect and see the book that you have that to contain the last word, that at least in the Wildcards' collective possession. You see that and you can connect like the dots of the last word in the book and the name that you need. And there's almost like a secondary element. You can almost see there's another book and there's other figures and there's like a series of pages flying about, and it's just hard to kind of see. And through it, you can just faintly see two figures. They're almost completely obscured. One seemingly male, one seemingly female, but easily could be two male, two female. Too difficult to tell in this immediately fading memory, mind, dreamscape. And then you come to.
Are we all awake yet, or is it just me who wakes them?
At this point, everyone comes to. The day you can hear, the sun is shining through, and the day outside, you can hear the market is in full swing. People are out and about. You hear people calling and selling things, and it is the next day. The rest of your party, you're split up into two rooms, two different bedrooms, and then the adjoining kind of central room, so you're not all immediately together, but there's no reason not to be. You're all awake.
I'm gonna head to the group, or I assume we're all like up and out now.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to know about this. I'll tell it to Valentine, but everyone can hear about it. I might be able to get the real name of Asmodeus. Is that correct?
I mean,
That's his name.
How? What do you mean?
But it's gonna cost us 300 gold.
300 gold for the King of Hell's name? I mean, that's easy. Sure.
I have a source.
Who's your source though?
I can't tell because it's very sensitive. The whole operation could fall apart. You just have to trust me. Just trust me. Just give me the gold. I will get.
You have 300 gold. Like, you have so much gold. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but this is a team thing. I don't want to personally pay for this.
We're trying to save the world. Like,
I get it, but I feel like we should all be chipping in for such a endeavor.
Okay, sure. I mean, I would happily pay out of my own personal funds 300 gold to save the world. Like, here, done. 300 gold.
Okay. Give me an hour. I will be back with this info.
Just so you know, you can't tell anyone why we need that information. And
of course.
Because that would break our bond with you know who, and then our soul would be forfeit.
Absolutely. I will be back in an hour.
Where are you going though? Like, in case we need to bail you out of something, like, what are you up to?
You'll find me. Let's just say it's in proximity to the great bath area that we will.
Sure. Okay.
So
all right.
Then DM, I will grab the book.
Where are you going with that? No.
They won't. No, this is supposed to be discreet. They're not supposed to see this.
So hold on, we got to play this.
There's a lot of shit going on before that happens. Because if you're in front of everybody,
and that's our most.
Maybe it doesn't happen right away. Oh wait a minute, no. Before I say anything about the book,
sure.
I already know the name, right?
No, we don't have.
You guys
any
are still
of that.
seeking the name from somebody in the city.
But I thought I had the dream.
There
with
is
the
a
name.
book.
You had a dream about, like,
Trying to find
remembering that you need to get the name. You don't.
So
know
I don't
the
actually
name.
know the name.
You don't know the name.
I misread that dream.
Oh,
My
that's okay.
apologies. My apologies. If I misled you, I mean.
Okay, so
Think of it more. Think of it more like this. Those
Give me the gold
memories and those ideas. He pockets the gold and just walks back in the room as if nothing happened. Those memories and that element of dream was less being presented and more being pulled from.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll run outside, come back in a minute, and I'll just say, I just was stopped by Horace. He told me not to do anything. Stay here for the morning. So here's the gold back. We'll get the info later.
I happened to roll insight. I rolled natural 20. As soon as he leaves, I'm like, oh, that whole thing's bullshit, right? I don't want to know what he needs 300 gold for, but that's not it.
And 60 seconds
As
later,
he's
he
gone.
rushes back in.
Oh my. Did anyone see Horace last night? Who was on watch last night? Honda, you were first. Like, I asked him to report back to me.
Yeah, about that. I kind of forgot about the watch, but I did see Horace, and I told him he wants to talk, so he'll talk to
How did you forget about the watch?
What do you
You
mean you
know.
forgot about the watch?
Look, I'm a businessman, okay? I can't be here, watching
Wait, where-
over you.
Where were you then? What did you do?
I was taking care of business.
What does that mean?
Whose
Okay, fine.
business?
So our business, though, I mean, that was kind of Horace to warn us. But we do have to
Did at least
moving.
get Horace? Horace was like finding out information for us. Did you at least get that information?
Well, I told him to talk to Valentine. I guess whenever he pops up, he'll regale that info to you.
Did you feel like when you stared at Horace in the eyes and he stared back at you, did anything like any recognition kind of like fire up in your cerebellum or anything like that?
I mean, it seemed like he had been in some like action recently, like he had been in some kind of like deal or fight or something. I don't know.
Mm.
But
So he has a propensity for like violence.
he was very
spontaneity.
surprised that you wanted to talk to him. He's like, "Oh, okay, Valentine."
I flick Valentine's little pointy ear. Knock it
Ow.
off.
Fine. Okay, guys, we got to get a quick breakfast and then we have to find Mordenkainen because
Can
Remember
we
the
talk
deal.
about that? Yeah,
Of course.
So talk about that for a sec. Are we really prepared to like blatantly fight one of the most powerful wizards of all time? Potentially, we don't know how much in his own faculties he is, but two, like turn him in with no understanding of what the fuck's going on, because like he's done some weird shit and he's kind of a weird dude. He did save all our asses, and he also we also have his staff, and we know it was pretty fucking important in saving the world before. So he's not like a bad dude. I just want to make sure that we don't just go in there and blindly hand this dude over. Maybe we can find out what the fuck it was that he is supposed to, his deal that he had, and at least get that information first, because maybe it's something we can help with. I
we
feel
should
like
get
I don't
money.
want to have this guy on our bad side, especially since we have his shit.
Yeah, I feel like a couple ways about it. When we've had our encounters with death and come back to life or whatever, we've been pretty weak to start, so he might be a little weakened. Or I don't know how this like weird test tube baby stuff works. He could be like right as rain. Like you said, I don't know if he has his memory. I do feel partially like, I mean, you got to pay your debts. So from a moral standpoint, like if he's swindled over these people and he's being untruthful, that's tough. But at the same time, I think it's totally fair. We just have to get a good lock on him and make sure he can't get out of our grasp, and then just ask, hey, these people want you back. What's more important than that is we need this information. So you could either help us get that information, or if you can't, we're turning you in because they could get that info.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, there's
kinda how I
absolutely
feel.
an element of needing to save everything. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just making sure that you don't know what the price is. And we also know how hard-ass some of these guys are. And none of us, I don't think any of us could say that if there was a life or death situation or something incredibly dire, that we wouldn't make a kind of shitty deal without intentions of
We have
paying that.
multiple times.
Exactly. Like, we're not better than that, is what I'm saying. So let's at least try to talk to the guy. If we going in aggressively at first, he's not going to fucking want to talk to us, or he's going to find a way to get out of it. Number one, we have to fucking find him. Like, chances of that are kind of slim. We do have the Wayfinder sphere that you can find a person, right? And then if we have that vial of the goop that he was in to bring him back to life, maybe those two things can work together.
We have a
If
staff
I'm remembering how that
part
works.
of him used to belong to.
I know we can also just try to look in on him, although I'm seriously doubting that's going to work.
I'm not attuned to that right now. That's a good idea for later, at least. Yeah, let's just try and track him down and see what happens.
Is there anything else we need to accomplish today?
I think the best news is if we don't get this accomplished, if we don't return him to the hall, they're not going to be that pissed at us. Like, they'll be disappointed, but they said they would just send out their own squad. It's not like they're going to send a squad after us. So if we don't
just means
accomplish
that
this,
we're not
it's okay.
We're just not any further in our goal.
And we've wasted more days. But at least on other time crunches, our souls have been on the line, so at least it's not like that.
That we know of.
And to put it into context, Gord, you know exactly, given the connection to Azut's fate, but basically at noon yesterday, 48 hours, so noon tomorrow is your deadline. And we'll say currently, Gord, it's 8:32.
Oh, you get keen mind with that?
Yeah.
Gord knows the exact time at any time.
And he knows what waits north if it applies, which
insane.
doesn't here.
I don't
Hondo,
think
don't
it has
forget,
actually
you have-
keen mind. It's just the time element of keen mind.
Oh, really?
Hondo, don't
It's
forget
not like
you
he
have
has
that
the
cool
feet.
robe now too.
Hmm.
You have the like star robe thing, and you can do cool shit.
You can throw
It's
some
pretty
magic
We'll
missiles.
come in real handy.
Take a quick journey to the astral sea.
Mm-hmm. All right, you guys want to get started? We can grab some breakfast downstairs and then quickly head out.
So we're going for the general, right?
Right now?
Maybe eventually, but right now we're going for Asmodeus. Right now we're going for Mordenkainen.
I want to beat that guy up.
The general or
think that's-
Mordenkainen?
The general, of course.
Me too, buddy. Don't worry. Don't. Like, the end game here is we beat him the fuck up for the Lady of Pain. That's what I'm hoping for.
I think we might. We haven't made
we'll
this
try.
decision yet, obviously, but like, we've argued about this. But going to the Lady of Pain, you wanted to go to her, saying we've already murdered this dude, which I think might be a bit of a stretch. And also, I'm a little concerned if that's not what she wants, she might just get
Yeah,
more
that could be
mad at
bad.
us. If she wants something else to happen to him.
That's my
But
boyfriend.
instead, if we can try to find as much information as we can about what the fuck's going on here, we could go in with like, hey, we know XYZ. What would you prefer to happen to this dude? Because we're really good at beating shit up. I don't know.
We're really good at fucking shit up.
We can always tell her, we'll get the head for you. You give us what we need.
Yeah, that's what I'm hopeful is the end of the situation. But first, let's see if we can find Mordenkainen because we need an intro to the lady.
As you guys make your way collectively down into the main room of Second Chances, you're looking to get some breakfast. Vidane will come by. This would be the extent of how long you've booked your room for as well. So if you guys are looking to re-up for a couple
I
of
got
nights,
300 gold in my pocket now, thanks to Hondo.
Vidane does just kind of say, we have quite a bit of clientele looking to come in and stay here these nights, but you all have been just so kind and so generous to help out in a tight spot, and in truth, quite fruitful with your coin. I'd be happy to make that room yours again for a couple of nights and continue taking care of those two lovely animals of yours that we have stabled up back.
Oh shit, I forgot about there.
Well, we appreciate that so much, sir. Thank you. Kind of how much would that be for a couple more nights?
Well, how many nights are you looking to continue your stay? It's been about 10 gold a night. It's a big room. It's a nice room. I'll give you that. But it's about 10 gold a night for your group, and then another gold a day for your the care of your animals.
What if we just paid 50 up front right now?
Absolutely. I'd be more happy to have you for another 5 nights. That'd be quite lovely.
Perfect. That suits us just fine. We're not sure if we're going to use all those nights, but we'd be happy to pay up front and don't worry about the difference.
I'll keep track of it. Don't you worry. If you stay 1 night less, I'll give you 1 night less. So, honest and truthful to my word. Now let me get you some breakfast and something to drink.
We appreciate that so much. Leah making a comment about my accent as I'm trying to find it once more. God, I have to rewatch these episodes to figure out what the hell this accent was.
Okay, then you guys book yourselves in for 5 more nights paid, and it'll be just 5 silver for breakfast. 5 nights paid, and then that includes 5 nights of keeping Keith. Currently, it's Keith and Fern, though. Yeah, Mira is just kind of like on a rooftop.
It's here now.
Yeah, I'll
Hanging
just
out.
quickly touch base. See where the fuck she is, if she's still around.
we kind of just like moved past so many things. You
Yeah.
could have repositioned her to be in with Fern and Keith
Her boys.
if you wanted to, adding another couple of gold for these knights of will be like it'd be like 2 gold to continue adding them to like the stables.
I'm a little concerned about a Pegasus just like be invisible in the city.
Given your passives and now 2 or 3 days in the city, you have seen no sign of any other kind of pack mules or any kind of animals outside
of a metal dog.
Well, metal dog, yeah. So anything that is flesh, you have yet to have seen, other than rats and the odd cat and a couple of other kind of like what you'd expect to see in a city. But there have been no other kind of larger animals, which you could easily gauge as either for food purposes, or there's no vegetation to feed a lot of animals here that would be expensive to import. So it's just something you haven't noticed. Yeah, you also gather, given who you are, if someone saw Pegasus, that's a lot of coin they can make off that.
Yeah. I would tell her then and that it's okay. She can go. She can go home for a little bit. She can go back to that Celestia where it's like less weird. Because also something I didn't quite understand when you described it to us, but I've recently, since Kyle has showed me a visual, that this city's like a donut. It like inceptions all the way around so that the ceiling is also city. I didn't get that. So there isn't really a good place to stash her on a rooftop, which was my initial plan.
In theory, you could. She could be seen from across, but it's like multiple kilometers to like really like see. So like in theory, not the end of the world, but it's also like you can kind of fern her in and out. So
yeah, I'll let her go back to Mount Celestia. That's fine.
Yeah, she returns, and then you don't have to worry about it. And you can bring her back whenever you want. So that being all of our business taken care of ahead of time here, you guys have a nice breakfast, check in with the Dane, and by 9 o'clock, you're out on the streets. What's the plan?
Is there anything interesting in the like immediate market? Like just always keeping an ear out, kind of like I was yesterday, of anyone, rumors, anything happening through the night, any interesting or different folks that we haven't seen before?
Sure. Throw a perception check if you would.
Sure. That is not excellent. It's a 7 on the dice, so it's 14 total.
Okay. I'll say you would have probably started doing this while you guys were having your breakfast, keeping your back inside and looking out the open windows and doors into the market. Nothing immediately jumps out at you. You catch that there are plenty of people out and about. The market is as busy as it was the day you guys got here. You do see with that roll that there are still mercy killers, kind of more than you saw the first day. They are not immediately outside of second chances, but you catch 2 pairs kind of like doing a patrol in this market, whether it's for the Crimson Coin or exactly, or maybe this is what they normally do. You're not entirely sure, but you just catch that there is a presence that you didn't notice the day before.
Not surprising considering what happened a couple nights ago.
That makes sense.
I also have another general question. In the market area, is it like the kind of thing where people like completely pack up, pick off, and move out? Or is it like different people every day? Or is it like there's regulars and regular spots?
It seems like a pretty regular turnout and pretty regular consistency of certain people. There's been a handful of changeovers, but rather than a full like remove your cart and go, it's almost like lock up a cart and maybe remove your product or remove things that could spoil or be stolen. But for the most part, you've seen the same people in the same spots, probably about 90%. And then you can see that there's kind of a roving group of people who are trying to just kind of sell their wares, who don't necessarily have a full cart set up, don't have a stall, but they have, stuff set out on a wagon or stuff set out on just a blanket, and they have like a tent set up. Like there's quite a bit of that is all over the place. But a lot of this is tents, carts that are pretty stationary, and lots of storefronts that have yet to made any changeover, but you've only been here 3 days. So
Yeah, I'll make a mental note of trying to like memorize as many faces and store setups directly across some second chances as I can, in case, just paranoid of someone, setting up a spy, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To see our comings and goings.
I'll carry that perception for now, but if you guys don't immediately leave here, we'll get you to do another one. But
let's start making our way to the clerk's ward.
So you guys received some information yesterday from a helpful coffee stand shop person,
coffee vendor,
that it was basically, everything here is just a ring. So if you just keep going south that way, you'll get there. I was incorrect in how long things should have been taking here. My math of travel pace was off, so I unfairly overestimated how long it would take to travel through these multiple wards. Ultimately, I don't think it changed much of a difference. I think it was still in your best interest to not have gone off and been like late searching the clerk's ward the night before. You still have plenty of like use to your day yesterday. However, basically traveling through here, now that you've got a good feel of what it's like to travel in this city and what it's like to weave your way in amongst the crowds and in amongst the different sites that kind of catch your eye, you gauge you can travel about 3 kilometers an hour, and the wards are roughly have been, at least the 2 or 3 that you've passed through, anywhere from 5 to 6 kilometers roughly spaced. So you're looking at probably 3 hours to get to the clerk's ward by your best estimate, and by the estimates of the people around you. So right now, plenty of time to get there, get back, do a bunch of shit. And in theory, this is moving with the flow of traffic and with the flow of people. If you really wanted to book it and expedite your journey via magic and stuff like that, you certainly can. But that definitely calls attention. So this would be keeping pace and just casually making your way at that pace.
Let's go casual. But Hondo, what are you thinking?
Well, I haven't done it in a while, and I always like to do a little pickpocketing. So maybe I'll do a little just to make sure that I haven't lost the skill.
Okay.
All the places.
Are you looking for any particular target, or just kind of like
any wealthy-looking person? Nice robes or jewelry they're wearing. Something like that. They're probably carrying a few dough.
Sure. As you guys are going, go ahead and throw me a sleight of hand check.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's a 4. But let me check if sleight of hand. It's not. So sleight of hand is +8, so 12.
Okay. Such a weird rogue.
All right. Pardon me, I'm definitely not reading certain things over here.
I think even Alana's passive catches that.
We all see it.
Inspire myself.
We're all distancing ourselves and like, oh no.
You cannot inspire yourself after the roll, unfortunately. You should have done that ahead of time. But something to keep in mind in the future. You still manage to pull it off. It's just not quite as smooth. And as you kind of pull your hand out, there's a bit of you kind of pull on the robe ever so slightly as you catch this individual, rather large, rotund kind of looking figure. You get into the side pocket and you get your hands on, you feel a couple of coins and you feel a ring or a chain. You're not sure yet. You kind of just cup it all in your hand, tuck it behind your back. But as you're kind of pulling back out, you pull the robe and he kind of turns and looks at you and kind of pulls his robe close and gives you a fuck off look. Continues on his way, none the wiser. However, as you kind of turn back to the rest of the group, every single one of them are looking at you, and even Brawley. And you look down in your hand. You do manage to pull up 5 silver and 3 gold pieces. Not a particularly impressive haul. The ring, though, is interesting. It seems to be like a gold ring with a blue signet. that kind of bears this interesting symbol. You're not entirely sure what it means, but it's interesting. It doesn't seem like it's language. Like it looks like it does look like a either like a seal kind of ring. You know what I mean? What would that be called? I guess a seal.
Signet ring? Seal ring? Yeah.
Signet ring. Yeah. It looks like it's worth. It's good. It's well made. It might be worth 10 gold, but that's what you get.
I know they already know, so I'll be like, "Do you see this ring? This might get us in with the general." I'm just hunching. This symbol looks like maybe it has something to do with him. I don't know, but
see a big jewelry guy.
We'll talk to a jeweler. Otherwise, it pays for a nice meal or a nice sword.
Is your game plan just to take things from people until something proves useful?
Until I want to see some action, right? And no action, I gotta keep myself occupied.
Just a reminder that the cops already hate us here, and we just need to not go back on house arrest. That's all.
Absolutely. But okay. I warn you, if those cops show up again and give us shit for doing their job, there will be hell to pay.
The thing is, though, stealing from people is not their job. So if they catch you because you've been pickpocketing people, your argument's null and void.
That's fair.
Just want to bring that into. Also, are you really rusty? Because I saw Alana turn her back and see you.
I saw you.
Yeah, bro, saw it.
Hence why I got to practice,
I guess it's been a long time. How about this? You can practice when we get back to the material plane, and where the cops might not just put you through a guillotine for picking someone's pocket.
Of course. But
remember we saw that guy literally beheaded yesterday for a whisper of a revolt? I think they take shit pretty seriously here.
Of course.
I'm admittedly a little nervous about our friend.
H?
Slimy friend.
Not this H, the other H?
Yeah, and also, we've been using names.
The related H? Little H?
I'm just...
H
I guess we don't entirely know what we're doing with that, or if we're doing anything with that. Because correct me if I'm wrong, their idea is to revolt against everybody?
I don't even want to talk about it out here. I do not want to talk about it. Seeing that guy get his head chopped off let's not chat about that here.
No,
I would love to look for, it's all sketch. I would love to look for, what was it called? Oh, I just had it in my notes, the cager. Is there a fresh cager?
Yeah, easily. You could find that on this kind of a journey. Let me scroll through here.
Extra, read all about it.
Yeah, you are able
Huge fucking orgy at the bathhouse.
You're able to find the cager. I can't remember. I can't find it in my notes. But you are able to easily find a copy. And as you kind of quickly peruse, there is speculation of some resistance to the general. And then just kind of like an op-ed of is that good or bad for people? And it's kind of like a poll was done, and it's very 50-50. It's just some people kind of quoted as saying it's about time someone pushed back against these people, and then some people saying best to keep your head down and nothing will happen to you, kind of a situation. You see no further intriguing elements to your antics. You guys don't see any of your any comics depicting you or anything like that. But you can see that this debate back and forth between lady and general has taken up, you'd wager probably 60% of this article has been about the conflict. Others are just advertisements and things, just some dude wrote a poem and it's terrible, but it's there.
Like a shitty college paper.
That's exactly what it is.
Shit, Alana, we should have checked on a pastry guy this morning. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Okay, we'll have to go on the way back.
Yeah.
Also, they were really good, and I want to have a fresh one.
Is that the guy who just watched people kick the shit out of? He just...
Okay, well, we didn't... It's not like we wanted him to get. We just didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to act, especially being here.
That's
It's
fair.
not one of our proudest moments, that's for sure. But hopefully, we made up for it.
We saved him.
We did.
Mira got to kick some shit out of some like real assholes, and it was really fucking funny. I've never
We're
seen
gonna
so
kill
many
them
dudes be
next time.
terrified of a horse before. It was the best.
Okay, so I would like.
Which ward are we in right now? So we're making our way through market, or are we still
guys-
in it?
At this point, you guys have crossed out of market because you're kind of like right in the heart of the market at the Bazaar and Second Chances. It's like right in the middle. So this takes you the easiest amount of time to get out of. But it's still probably about an hour before you begin to return back to that kind of cross point between the guild hall and the market, and you begin to lose a lot of those people selling wares. And now it's just kind of like you see a lot more smiths, you see a lot more like active labor positions, stuff like that, and lots of like just like classic kind of businesses, but like nothing that you would storefronts, just people going about doing assorted jobs. At this point, yeah, you've been about an hour walking. Mary, throw me another perception because you've been kind of keeping the eye out.
It's not good.
Okay.
13.
Okay. Another half hour, and you begin to get well into the Guildhall ward. And it's been a quiet day. It's been an hour and a half. It was pushing into 2 hours of just kind of travel through the city. It's been relatively quiet. People maybe just got to jump on things early. You haven't seen much of anything that's caught your eye. However, as you get to the edge of this kind of intersection area, not far ahead, you can see another kind of changeover. You begin to see there's not necessarily a big gate to signify the bridge between the wards, but you can tell the difference when you watch the buildings themselves. The structure of the city has a different vibe, has a different feel, and you can see not far ahead another change coming as you're making your way through the Guildhall ward. You can see almost more iron and glass structures, these kind of, in our world, almost like skyscraper-like style, like classic building that you would see in like a downtown of a major metropolis. It's odd to you from here, and you can just kind of catch that from here. But just on the border, as you're getting closer, pushing into this 2 hour, almost 3 hours, you can see a group of people kind of keeping a wide berth of a building to the right side. And immediately you can all begin to kind of smell fire. You can smell the scent of burnt flesh and burnt hair, wood, and other, obviously, accelerants. As you begin kind of making your way, kind of following the crowd, keeping a bit of a wide berth, you can see a group of about 8 individuals with these dark gray cloaks, heavy dark gray cloaks, almost like leathery cloaks. Some of them are more browned and stained than others, pulling what look like at least 8 individuals charred to the bone out of a burnt building. You can see this whole building is, the stone exterior is covered in soot, and the building beside is heavily covered in soot. But you can see like the entire front face has been fallen away, and it's just an empty black hole where this building was completely burnt away. What you gather as you're getting close, though, obviously the signs of a fire, these figures who are pulling these charred bodies out, 7 of them are very clearly skeletal or like semi-undead. You can see it on them. You can see flesh pulled away from bone. You can see musculature easily open in the air. One, though, bears no flesh at all, nor bone. You can see a fully metallic figure, roughly humanoid, 5 to 6 feet tall. This faintly, just like smooth face with this faint kind of line to denote a top and bottom half of the face, and 2 angular eyes seemingly kind of standing back and directing these other undead figures as they're kind of pulling the bodies out of this building. Just something you guys catch as you're making your way through this area.
What about
Oh,
and are the bodies they pulling out just charred? Like we can't even make out those bodies?
You could get closer and see if you could like walk by and see if you can get some more intel.
Yeah, I'm super curious. I want to like move up to that.
Do you want to make an investigation check and get right up on it, or you want to try and keep a little bit of distance and use perception?
I'll be using perception as I'm trying to look over the crowd and look through.
Go ahead.
as that's happening, I'm also going to look at the crowd, people reacting, and try to see if I pick up on anyone either reacting suspiciously or like whether it's listening or just trying to read lips of people, like whispers or rumors or...
Sure. Make a perception check yourself.
21 for my perception check. And then I clicked a button and my screen went so bright, just so bright.
22, actually. That was way better than...
Okay. Val, as you begin to make your way closer, and the group kind of collectively all moving as one, you get a little closer to look at the bodies. At best, you can tell humanoid. Looking over it, it looks like 5 are elderly, maybe not elderly, but adult. Seems more male to your eyes, just at a quick glance, though the majority of flesh and cloth and skin has been burned to a crisp. Though you do spot 3 amongst them are smaller, potentially gnomes, potentially halflings, or any of the other small folk, or potentially children. Given the state of the building, you gather it would have been, looking about the rest of the street as well, easily an apartment or 2 above a storefront or a business of some kind. Could have been a family business. Any signage has been burned away. It is a complete, like, bomb went off. Mary.
I have questions, but yeah, can you do Mary first, then Phil? Yeah.
You don't look at the incident itself. You watch the crowd and you watch the mouths of the people walking by, and you get a lot of the initial kind of, people just kind of gasping as they walk by, but they're still looking. It's an onlooking kind of thing. The people are walking by and just, shaking their heads and just saying, what you would expect, looking on potentially dead children and this family. With that perception, though, you catch 2 things. You can see a group of 4 mercy killers standing across the street in a tight-knit group. 2 of their backs are to you, but the other 2 are standing facing kind of not directly at you or the building itself, but looking at the other 2 people, but you're able to see their lips. And you do catch them talking about apprehending 1 of the coin, but the other 4 got away. You also catch a name. The name is Shin. Said something to the effect of, Shin showed his face again. He hasn't been here in a long time. Just a name. And as that, you kind of keep your focus on these 4 mercy killers. There's a little bit more as another that you can see says, the fuck is a general's lieutenant doing up here? They know to keep in their territory. Something's got them riled up. You catch those ominous words. But you catch one other thing as well. As you're watching the crowd, you get nothing else from kind of general folk. But just beyond, as you're kind of looking around and looking back from where you came, you probably gauge 200 to 300 feet. You see a pair of those alien floating creatures, those gray skin horns, just like the faint little turned up horns, and the white kind of floating hair around these 2, what you've come to know are called devas. These kind of telepathic, telekinetic servants of the Lady of Pain. and they seem to be, one of them anyways, catches your eye even from afar before kind of turning its head towards the other.
Just like full body shudder. Those guys freak me out. Don't like even just the passive insight being in any of their shit. Just gives her the willies. We should keep moving.
Do you guys keep moving? Moving with the crowd?
I'll try and talk to someone as we're like slowly moving forward.
Talk to like a person walking
Like a
by,
pedestrian.
or-
Or someone, maybe
bystander?
someone watching. Yeah.
Sure. There's tons of people here.
Just
You see a particularly interesting looking figure that kind of catches your eye almost just as much as this kind of incident. This blue skinned dragonborn. You can see the dragonborn face. However, from atop its head, where you've seen scales, basically the only dragonborn you've seen is Uth, where Uth's kind of scales all kind of trail down in this kind of almost like hair, like tendrils. You see these floating sapphire crystals kind of form around the top of the head and almost kind of drift as if floating hair and scale. As he's kind of this male-looking figure. You see armored, like a breastplate, relatively in good shape, and relatively armed, kind of similarly to, not to yourselves, but to adventuring kind of crew.
Oh man, it's just so terrible.
I heard Crimson Coin were involved.
That's what I kind of reckoned too. Those fucks. Did you happen to know, was this a store? Was this a house?
Not entirely sure. I don't really frequent these areas, but I had to come and see for myself. That Crimson Coin are a fucking stain.
We totally agree. Good, strong people should do something.
I've been saying that myself, trying to get my order together to stand up. I'm a part of, fuck, what's he a part of? I had it in my head and then it just went away. Where is it? I'm a part of the ciphers. Work out of the gymnasium in the clerks. It's not far from here. They also know it as the Transcendent Order. We try and keep a watchful eye. Clearly, we're not doing such a good job.
We tangled with some of those Crimson folks back by the Dane's place a couple nights ago.
Second something, yeah.
Yeah.
I recognize him. That name.
Yeah, and they're just threatening everyone in there, their whole family, their kids.
They don't give a fuck.
Well, if you and your order ever got together and thought about doing something, we'd be mighty obliged to help.
Who are you? Who are you with?
We're the wrong crowd. I know it's a bad rap, but we are new here, but we're more than capable.
Just a group of you, just here. You're not affiliated.
Not too much, no, sir.
Well, the order's always looking for new blood.
I mean, we are headed to the clerk's ward. We were going to check that out, so are you headed back there yourself?
I am. I had some business to take care of, but might be good to introduce you.
Oh, we would really appreciate that, sir. My name is Marty.
Nice to meet you. Name's Eamon. Mary, as you catch some of this conversation happening as the rest of the crew is kind of around Valentine and this new figure, you look back to where those alien figures were. You don't see them anymore, but you did watch them kind of slow their roll towards you. And now you don't have any line of sight on them right now. Something of note. He says, are you all ready to go now?
Let me just take a little look-see. It seems like we're all here. I could introduce you quickly. This is Roxanne. This is Henry the Blue. That's Sarah. And that tall drink of water over there, his name's Milkshake.
Pleasure to meet you. He looks at Alana and then over to Mary and says, oh, you two will fit in nice.
I told you, we're a good crowd. We might be the wrong crowd, but we're certainly a good crowd.
Indeed.
How capable does this dude look? Does he he's like a tank?
Yeah, make an insight check.
If we're gonna walk for a while. I'll also do know your enemy for funsies, but for now my insight check was a 2 on the dice. God
Know your
damn it.
friends. Know your friends, not enemies.
No, that's just what it's called. So a 2 is an 8 plus 13. What's 8 plus 13?
21.
Yep.
21. Damn it.
You gather there's definitely some weapons training. There's definitely he's armored. He's a rather large individual. Dragonborn naturally kind of stand a little taller. You can see that the tail is it's beefy tail to go along with a relatively fit physique. Pardon me. Though you do gather, he seems pretty light on his feet. He's kind of shifting and moving and, not making big, heavy footfalls. Seems to be pretty live. And you can see pretty easily that there is intelligence in the eyes. This guy is not quite to the level of yourself in terms of battle prowess, but very knowledgeable of his sparring partners as he's looking about and keeping an eye on all avenues as he's talking to Valentine here.
Well, all right. I do think we are ready to go to Kirkward. If you were all done doing what you're doing.
Yeah, let me lead you to the gymnasium.
Appreciate that.
As he begins to pull you along, it doesn't seem to be a very far jaunt, though he does kind of ask, so you're not affiliated, you're new to the city.
That's right, sir.
Looking about you, you were pretty armed.
We're a bit of a adventuring party ourselves.
Sure, I gathered that. But how much action have you seen?
Oh, wow. I'd say a lot, sir, to be frank with you. Quite a fair amount.
So what is it you're in the city for then?
Well, we're embarrassed to admit it, but we kind of stumbled into this city ourselves. Kind of trying to figure out how to get out of here. There are some people we've heard about that we might want to try and track down in here, but mostly it's trying to figure out a way out.
A couple of stories in my past. People come here, not really know how to get out. Nobody really takes the cage seriously until they're here.
I will admit, Amy, as people who like to do right in the world, despite us just ending up here, when we see what the Crimson Coin is up to, especially my friend Henry the Blue over there, he is itching to set things right. So
it's good to hear.
Yeah, I think we all kind of feel that same sentiment, though we did get in a wee bit of trouble for our shenanigans the other night with the Mercy Killers. They weren't too happy with us having to do their jobs for them.
Yeah, we butt heads with them a fair about ourselves. They can be stuck up. They do what they believe is right. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But they have too many restrictions. When you see evil like this, there's no time for law. It's time for action.
We totally agree, sir. And also it's a time for respect. If someone bought you a coffee, then the next time when you agree to go for a coffee, that they should, wait for you. They shouldn't just get coffee themselves.
That seems like two different scales of things, but I suppose I agree.
Well, thank you. No, I like you even more now.
All right. He leads you through.
I just look at Mary and I'm like, yeah, this guy gets it.
leads you into, as I described, that kind of barrier between, as you watch the buildings begin to shift, and a much more open landscape of city opens before you. The crowds disperse ever so slightly, but there's still a significant amount of people constantly moving here and about. There just seems to be a little bit more air here. Everything is just a little bit wider, a little bit more open, a little bit more free. And the buildings seem to grow almost in odder kind of shapes, more curved and like oddly elongated and shifted ever so slightly. There's almost a faint twist and alien element to it. That doesn't necessarily sit uneasy. It's just interesting and a little different. But this place is, different. Eamon continues kind of charging through the crowd, and people give him a relatively wide berth. Not out of fear necessarily, but he's just an imposing kind of figure, and people just give him his due, his way. And about 3 hours after you left Second Chances, Eamon begins to lead you down this path, and on one down this path towards a rather large open kind of park. There's a large rock garden, this long rock garden that's kind of set down into the city. And you can see on one side, there's this break in the path in the road itself. One goes up and over like a bridge, and the other descends down into this kind of recessed park. And it's this long, extended park that goes opposite of the perpendicular to the main road. And there are two massive structures on either end. On one, the further end, you can see this kind of really tall, almost like spire-like structure, multi-tiered, multiple spires, and it's a rather beautiful, almost like multiple candles or spires, all rising from one space. But on the other, you can see this immense arched building, almost like a massive barn. However, the marble and the stone and the glass exterior just gives this really industrial vibe that just kind of is an intriguing looking building. And that's the one that Eamon begins to lead you towards, this great gymnasium. The base of this, all the arched walls, you can see are open in kind of the classic Roman style of these columns. Kind of everything is open, and you can see through the entire building, and it is rather wide and long. As you can see people sparring, you can see people wrestling. There are gymnastic equipment kind of just all about, and there's a long walkway, kind of a big square walkway around the entirety of the space that is kept free of any of this kind of activity, but it's all kept in the center of this several hundred feet square area of just people sparring, training, fighting, exercising, and just training body and mind. You can see people are doing incredible acrobatic swings on these ringed ropes, and doing massive spins in the air and landing perfectly on a balance beam, and then kind of jumping off into a series of combat motions with another person that was coaching them, and then immediately they roll into a physical combat. You can see just with training sticks that Mary and Alana you'd be very familiar with. However, you also see in amongst all of this, people sitting and fully meditating, just cross-legged in the middle of this chaos of activity, just fully eyes closed, center, sitting, not concerned with the chaos of combat and activity all around them, not worried of anyone running into them or dealing any damage to them. And some, you can see elements of magic being imbued into some of these people's fighting styles. You can see as two people are sparring, one with a massive two-handed kind of weapon, and the other with a single kind of thinner blade-like thing. kind of spinning and using more acrobatics. And then as they strike with their weapon in a quick strike, there's a burst off the tip, and the person that hit is thrown like 15 feet before they catch themselves and land, pull themselves back up and fully in agreement with one another. There's no aggressive nature to it. This is just training.
This looks mighty impressive, Eamon. Our friend Henry here, he's quite the acrobat himself. Henry, would you like to get up on some of these rings and show him how it's done?
Oh, you know it.
See there, might be good to show some of your skills to our factal leader. Is kind of gestures and looks through the crowd and gestures across the way, and you can see this red-skinned tiefling, two large horns that kind of rise and curl and then rise straight up to a point rather than curl back or forward, just like straight up. Stands about 5-6 feet tall and not particularly imposing or impressive, but is shirtless and ripped as all fuck. This dude is just shredded, and just kind of standing in greaves and like armored like lower half, but nothing in the upper half. And even from afar, you can see many wounds and battle scars, but that have long healed, as he's kind of talking with and training a group of people who are in meditation. You can see like 2 rows of 4, so eight figures altogether, and he's kind of slowly guiding them through either a meditation or a mental training exercise of some kind. Eamon just kind of says, we'll wait for a moment when he's done, and then perhaps I can introduce you.
Oh yeah, that'd be mighty appreciated.
Just hang out here for a minute.
Yeah.
I'll bring him over. He makes his way closer to this figure, but doesn't interrupt, and you watch as he just kind of waits it out before this tiefling figure opens his eyes and looks over towards Eamon, and they have a brief interaction. He turns back to the group, says a couple of words, and then Eamon kind of takes over in the position, and this tiefling figure makes its way towards you.
Much as I feel exceptionally at home here, what the fuck is their plan?
Oh, I think it'd be real nice to meet these folks and ingratiate ourselves to their culture. Watch Hondo make a fool out of himself. That'd be like quite a treat on a nice morning. And then during the quiet moment, maybe we can fire up the Wayfinder sphere and see if we can get a ping on anyone. I just think if it might come to blows at some point, it might be nice to have a good in with a couple people who can hold their own in a fight.
Be interested to hear if they have any more information about coin stuff, though if I was them, I wouldn't share too much with outsiders.
Well, we just got friendly faces, though.
You know what I used to find was the best way to get info out of people sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
Through arm wrestling matches.
God, would you want to arm wrestle this man?
I mean, if we have to. I haven't had a really good arm wrestle in a long time.
I'd be down for all of these things. Hondo doing some acrobats, you arm wrestling, Mary killing a man, and just we can do the trifecta right here.
I haven't had a half decent spar with someone who knows what the fuck they're doing in a very long time. Hondo, just remember to bend your knee. No, that does not count. Bend your knees. Just keep a spot on the wall. You really have to stretch. Don't get a little overexcited.
Especially, you're so worn out after whatever you did in that brothel the other day. Like, you really got to make sure you don't overstrain yourself.
Drink a Gatorade.
I ran a ship by a thing from sail to sail. This is gonna be nothing.
I know, it's just Mary's right. Your electrolytes are so low. You're gonna cramp up.
This figure makes its way towards you, and kind of regards you all, looks you up and down silently for a moment before saying, "My colleague Eamon said that you showed promise in such a short amount of time that he met you. wanted you to show your skills, as he said. My name is Rice. I am the factual leader of the Transcendent Order, also known as the Ciphers. This here is our training grounds of both body and mind. Look about you. You seem very obviously talented and skilled, both in combat. I can't quite assess mind just yet. But you seek membership?
We're quite curious about your order. We seek friends and allies, and we would love to know more about what you guys do here.
Well, simply said, we train body and mind in harmony so that the spirit becomes one with the multiverse.
Oh, wow.
A large goal, a large task, but your body is all you have. That in your mind.
It's true.
So what better way than to live than to give that your all at all times. The body is a tool. The mind is a tool. Here we push them both to the limits and attempt to try and push beyond whenever we can. In truth, I don't know that you're cut out for this.
Oh, really? What gives you that impression?
Giving a look over all of you, you've seen more than your fair share of combat. You've seen more than your fair share of action. But given the ostentatious approach across this group, seems more for flair and admiration than personal achievement.
Well, we respect your opinion, sir. We appreciate your candor up front, but we're more than prepared to back up what we say or what our flair looks like. If you were to give us some challenges, I bet we could change your mind.
Firstly, what do you hope to gain here? You say friends, sure. And what do I gain from your admittance, from your collective joining?
Well, I think your whole thing is about union, becoming one with the metaverse, and isn't it against that to be odds with a nice pair of faces who want to come and learn a little bit more about your order?
More looking to understand what you're trying to get out of this in the immediate future.
We can appreciate that. We're trying to make friends in the city, and we did tell Eamon that, we did stumble here and we are trapped in the cage, but we're trying to make friends because we're not sure how long we might be here. And in all honesty, the Crimson Coin have rubbed us the wrong way, and Eamon said how he didn't appreciate what they've been doing. He stumbled across a very distressing scene this morning on our way here, and I can't get the pictures out of my head. So if you're a group that doesn't like that kind of stuff, then we want to be associated with you.
While I do not condone the Crimson Coin in the slightest, we do indeed stand opposed. Eamon is a vocal minority of our group who seems to believe that action without thought is the only path forward. You do not charge blindly at a group such as the Crimson Coin or their leader. If you truly seek the betterment of this city and the betterment of yourselves, then perhaps we focus on mind before body. I can see across all of you. Physicality is not something you need challenged, perhaps honed. Come. And he leads over to the group of the group that he was kind of speaking with before.
Through the time between him meditating, coming to talk to us, and turning back, could I have known your enemy at least during part of it?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Let's do con.
Your con?
And my con, I know it's a +3, but I can never remember the actual number. 1 second. 17. And higher. Okay. I highly doubt Dex is going to be higher. AC probably won't be either. Let's just do hit points.
What are your hit points?
172.
Hang on.
Actually, I can do level. Well, that's always tough with an NPC because I don't know if they're a leveled character.
I would give it to you if they're a leveled character. And this guy is a leveled character, so you could do levels if you wanted to.
Okay, I'll do levels.
You guys
Same
are
thing. It's just higher or lower.
17.
We're 17.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. I need to pull it
Sure.
up. The new
I always
one.
forget that that's an option because it's
Well, I mean-
so specific.
Yeah, some enemies aren't actually leveled. Some are just, people. I need to see higher.
Okay. Yeah, lean over. This guy's big shit.
I think I could. What?
Yeah. He could probably kick most of our asses.
All right. Well, let's see what his mind honing is all about.
He leads you over to the group that he was with previously, and you can see Eamon has stopped kind of talking and is now also in meditation with them. And he sits beside Eamon and gestures for you guys to kind of sit in the same way as these other pupils are sitting, kind of classic meditation style, cross-legged, and sit before him in a line. You guys all sitting down?
Yeah, I'll sit down.
Oh, swords off your back, lay in front. Very practiced, very used to this. But haven't done it in
awkwardly
a
sit.
very long time.
I awkwardly sit with the hilt thing down because I'm used to heartbreak, so I try and move it and then just sit next to Mary.
Making so much noise.
I'm sorry.
I like to
Just
sit down.
Get comfortable.
As I sit down, like, because my hammer's so long, and I'm like, gunk.
Gunk.
He kind of looks across both of you with just a hint of frustration before kind of looking over to Hondo, Gord, and then Mary at the end there with just like a satisfied look. Gives a nod and closes his eyes.
I close my eyes too. Everyone, close your eyes. Valentine knows this is a test, so he just tries to bite his tongue, but his mind's going a mile a minute. He keeps opening one eye and looking around, just seeing what's happening.
You'll say, how long can Hondo sit there? That's my question. I'm good. Mary's good. She'll sit there as long as she needs to.
I start falling asleep because I'm so relaxed.
Just
like
punk.
This goes on for a while. I would like Valentine, I'd like everybody to throw either, what's the right save? What's the meditation save? Wisdom?
Wiz feels right.
Wisdom saves all around.
I'm not good at any of these.
Oh no.
Well, it's not encouraging.
Poor Allie.
It's
I
not
rolled a
right.
natural 1.
Oh,
You don't have Indomitable yet, do you?
I think she has one. But do you want to use it on a potential
Is this
meditation
worth-
save?
That's true. Is it worth using
No,
when we might
it's
fight a wizard later?
It's not. I need it.
I got a natural 20.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Hondo, Gord, Mary.
25.
13.
Okay.
Will you save, Henry?
11 roll.
What's your 11 total?
And what was, sorry, it's
Wisdom
Wisdom
save.
save.
wisdom save 11, 14.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, Alana falls asleep. within like 3 minutes. Like it happened
That's
very
so
fast.
cute.
She just like curls up in this little dwarf ball in this like faintly kind of sandy ground, and it's very reminiscent. Like you just feel like you're back on the training grounds in the Champions Guild. It's just very like I'm at home, and you just kind of slumber after kind of odd dreams the night previous. Gordon Hondo, at about the hour mark,
Jesus Christ.
you guys are just fucking done with this. This is nothing has happened. Like Gord, you're not even like against this, I don't think. I think Gord would be on board with meditation. But this guy just seems like he's just fucking with you, and that's not fun. So up to you guys how you want to appreciate that. Valentine, you're holding out for the long haul should you want to, and same with Mary. But I would say Hondo and Gord, at about the hour mark, you guys are having enough of this. Should you want to keep pushing to maintain this challenge, to maintain this meditation, you can go ahead and roll a secondary wisdom save to see if you're able to kind of maintain that. But as of right now, both of you would be irritated or annoyed and just want to be done with this and don't see the use of it. So it's up to you. Do you want to get up and fuck off, or do you want to push forward?
I'll push forward.
Okay. And I'll give that to, obviously, to Scott and Leah as well. You guys are fucking done with this too. You can feel free to do the same. However, you have the wherewithal to keep pushing forward and know that this is a challenge of patience and virtue should you want to gain this person's trust or admiration. You already have done this. Gord, what do you think?
I'll stick with it.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Mary, what do you
There's
say?
also just like the childish, like this was a problem when she was a kid and she learned not to be the kid who wouldn't sit still. So now there's like a childish, like, I need to win.
Gordon Hondo, go ahead and make another wisdom save.
15 and 3, 18.
30.
Damn.
Was that a natural 20, Gord?
I think it must have been.
Oh.
Given the previous saves and these two new ones, a second hour passes in not necessarily silence, as there is still sound around the room. But in this second hour, all of you, with the exception of Alana, who's asleep, push into this moment of, finding some purpose in this and seeing an element of like, okay, I feel more centered. I feel more understanding what they're going for here. And around that point, you hear Rice say, perhaps I misjudged you. Well, perhaps I was rash in my judgment. Don't know that I necessarily misjudged you, but please, you've wasted enough time and you've proven yourselves to be, well, worthwhile.
Making new friends is never a wasted time.
Well said. Come. Should you wish to, more than welcome to use our facilities for any of your exercise. Perhaps you should wake up your dwarven friend.
Oh yeah, she said she fell asleep pretty early on. Hey, Brawley. I mean, Roxanne. It's her nickname. Hey, hey, sweetie. We're good now.
Okay. Okay.
Rice kind of gives a little look for a second.
I'm so
So
sore as I
much.
get up. I'm so sore. I'm just like, oh, yeah. Hey, Russ, could I ask you something? Sorry, you were going to say something.
Please, ask away.
This gymnasium is so wonderful, and it's been so nice seeing everyone take part in it. Well, what was the building across the street?
In what way? He kind of looks
The
out to
one
the
with-
left and right.
The one with the tall spires.
Oh, across the park.
Sorry, yeah, the park.
No, no worries, no problem. That's the Hall of the Speakers, the Hall of Signers. They're an interesting bunch. We align actually in a great many things. Perhaps given our position in the city, and perhaps as a reason why we're positioned in such a way. But their understanding of the multiverse and in their place in it aligns interestingly with ours, where we believe to be those who manifest, who the universe manifests in us, pardon me, they believe to be manifestors of the universe. They are classic arcanists in study, impressive feats of transmutative power and telekinetic power, psionics. They are gifted, and we would count ourselves as allies. And should you believe to be a part of this, you should do the same.
They sound like mighty interesting folk.
Interesting is one way to put it. Their open-mindedness is most respectable, but their attitude can be something to get over. Yeah, challenging is a good way to put it, even for us.
How many people are like in this building or in this area? Like, I guess we don't know for sure how many people are in the whole order.
Yeah, you can't see the whole order, but in the gymnasium currently, like 200-ish.
Wow.
It's a big place. Not everyone is all working out and doing something, but there's a lot of people who are. Some people who are, there's kind of like in the areas around the exterior of the gym that are just communicating, just sitting, relaxing, eating, like dining, like lots of things are happening in this kind of large area. And you can see that there is like an elevated kind of section that goes off into the back and is kind of closed doored. So there's plenty of other options out that way, but it's a big place and lots of people active.
Can I ask, is this facility like this, it's exceptionally impressive.
Thank you.
Everything you could possibly need. I can't imagine it's inexpensive to maintain. Is this like a nonprofit situation? Is there like a benefactor? Is it, government?
When the order was initially founded, to my understanding, most factions were sponsored in some capacity. Some found funding in what other ways, serving the community. There is an element of funding through the intergovernment and through the Lady of Pain as semi-sponsorship, though it's almost like a grandfathered in clause at this point. In truth, most of our funding, what little we need, comes through our acts in the community in terms of sending off our trained elite, in terms of mercenary work, soldiers for hire, protection services.
When he's said anything about the lady so far, have I been able to pick up anything on like a favorable, or even with Eamon too? Like he said a couple times, they talked about I can't remember what they're called, the mercy killers. Like I know they don't love them. Like is it kind of like agnostic towards the Lady of Pain? Is it like she's just there?
Kind of a neutral figure. Like he didn't have any reaction one way or the other. It was more she's just like a figurehead, and that's how you would speak of anyone who's footing the bill for you, like almost like a business. Doesn't seem to have any care one way or the other. Eamon was far more opinionated and obviously very open about the Crimson Coin in the general, and simultaneously with the mercy killers, though he didn't say anything about the Lady of Pain thus far.
Okay.
Rice seems to be almost kind of middle of the road on almost everything, Like he seems to be kind of self-centered in a way of like, this is all that matters. This order,
Right.
its purpose, whatever the elite here do, in service of whoever hires them, they do the best they can. But
very like, yeah, centered on his own shit, which isn't surprising.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, well, if there's anything more you need of me, as I say, you're more than welcome to use our facilities. And if you truly do wish to acquire true membership, come the next couple of days. We don't do a daily call to action, so to speak. At the end of the week, there will be trials of sorts. And should you need, truly wish to be a part of the Transcendent Order and seek to progress as much as you can, physically and mentally, I would count you as highly qualified candidates.
Raz, could I ask you a question about the multiverse as a whole?
Please.
When you say multiverse, we're familiar and have traveled the planes. Is that kind of what you mean by multiverse?
In a sense, the multiverse, as we understand it, encompasses our inner, outer, and through planes, as we know them. But there are theories, and ones that we believe to be true, that the universe that we exist in is one of many, one that every decision, every choice splinters into a new world, a new option, a new potential reality, one in which there could be hundreds, thousands, millions of alternate versions across near infinite multiverses. I believe that there is more than just the planes that we know of, and I believe there is more than just the worlds we know of. And in truth, part of our order is to become or believe us to be the ones to choose the right path.
Mary goes from like feeling very comfortable in this space to flashing back to seeing all the reflections when we were in that mirror dimension and just immediately shutting the fuck down.
And I guess this training, mind and body, is about knowing what the right path to take is.
We choose to believe this is what you're given in life, mind and body. If you make it the best it can be, then you've made the right choices.
We come from a place where feels like the multiverse, when the planes are about to be unbalanced, and it's something of a mission of ours to ensure that there is balance.
Balance is tenuous, and in truth, this is something that you may find in common with the speakers, or the signers. They seek to establish and maintain order and balance across the multiverse through their belief in their creation, utilizing the multiverse to maintain its order. We try and focus more on the here and now in our physical form, what we can do right now to right the universe, and what the universe can do through us.
Well, we certainly know that at times the universe has moved through us to do great things. But it might be worth a conversation for us to go talk to those signers.
I'm sure they'd be more than happy to engage you in some discussion of. They can be talkative when they want to be. I will warn, some areas in the hall are off limits, but for the most part, the hall is open to the public. If you wish to make your way over and see what you can find, see if there's any interesting figures in which you can engage in conversation, I think it would further your training and education with our order here, should you get a vast perspective.
Well, I think we'll do that. And you know what? We might come back in a couple of days for those trials. That sounds mighty fun.
If you're serious about it, as I say, you'd be more than qualified. And I'm sure that together we could do great deeds for the multiverse.
Before we go, when Eamon's done training, would you tell him we said goodbye and we really appreciated him introducing us to you and your
Of
order?
course. I'll give him your warm words, and I'm sure he will appreciate them. I do wish to add one element of caution. Eamon is a good soul, though his want for action is troubling in a way. I understand it, and I believe he believes it to be the right thing for this place in the here and now. He believes it to be what the universe is telling him to do. But I believe he is somewhat naive. And I would hope that you would caution him from taking any rash actions, as I would caution you.
We appreciate that insight, and we've heard that sentiment before, so loud and clear.
Excellent. Then I hope to see you in the coming days. And as I say, leading up to that, please feel free to work out and use our facilities.
Henry, maybe before we go, you could show us what you can do on them rings over there.
I would be happy to.
Don't break anything, but I'll watch. What are you trying to do?
I'm gonna try and do maybe a somersault followed by like kind of like a butterfly movement with the ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a full routine, just improvised routine.
Then I'm gonna get you to throw me an acrobatics, athletics, and then a dex save.
Like 3 different rolls?
3 different rolls. Acrobatics, and then athletics, and then dex save. Based on how well you do, the DC increases each time.
So
Come on,
first
Henry,
one,
come on.
Acrobatics, 14 plus a lot.
and my acrobatics is 11.
All right.
So
25 as you get up onto the first the rings, just kind of getting the feel for it, kind of getting a swing going. You do indeed do a big swing off of one, and then kind of catch yourselves on another and swing back and kind of do this backward somersault, catching it again, and like using that momentum, you begin riding forward for the next motion. Let's go with athletics for this.
17.
Okay.
All right,
And-
Henry. All right.
Athletics is 9. It's 25. 26.
You use that momentum as you're swinging back around, and you tuck and roll again and do another kind of flip and catch yourself on another set of rings at like a tier higher. You're now like 30, 40 feet in the air as it just kind of continually scales up into higher and higher difficulty. And you do just kind of hold yourself in this like T pose and like just like pure like full like splayed wide, this massive like show of strength and stability and stamina. And you just hold it and you go in for a drop to see if you can land with a dexterity saving throw of 10 plus.
And dex save is plus 12. 22.
You come down and land 30 feet perfectly on the this like embedded kind of trampoline like area, and you land, tuck forward, and land perfectly on, that was weird, perfectly on a balance beam and land in a perfect stance before hopping off, nailing it to the applause of a good number of people in this area.
All right, Henry. Well done.
What did I say?
Rice gives a little tap and says, as I said, no need to prove yourselves physically, but that was very impressive. I look forward to seeing the next couple of days you showing off. That'll be fun.
I'm happy to be of service.
Good to know. I bid you a good day. I hope to see you again.
Take care. Take care now. Henry, that was quite impressive. I thought you were really going to, break some sort of limb or something like that, but I was just mighty impressive.
When you sail the seas like I have, you got to hold a lot of things down, lift, hang. This was just another one.
I just don't know how you have I don't know how you have any strength left in your legs after yesterday. It just seems so aggressive the way you described it at dinner.
We Tritons, we generate water very quickly, right?
I don't want to hear that kind of stuff. As we are making our way across the park, if we leave and are starting to make our way towards those spires,
it's a little ways to cross this park, so you got some time.
I'm going to fish out the Wayfinder sphere from the bag of holding.
Okay.
So if I'm, who, I would probably be at that building. I mean, that sounds right up his alley where he could get some assistance, where he might already have contacts. I mean, who knows what it's like inside there. We've been in Mage's Towers before where it's all wonky in terms of spacing, but when we get close to that, I could try and cast this and see if it gets a ping on him.
How long does that last?
Let me check the manual. It's on the underside of this thing.
The folded up piece of paper that's like
it
taped.
Says locate creature lasts 1 hour concentration. If that's how this object works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so it's the same as casting the spell. It just is through this device rather than through your focus or whatever it is. So within 1,000 feet, you can cast locate creature. If it's within 1,000 feet, it would ping. But this is the Wayfinder Sphere that you could enhance that putting magic into it, casting a spell, and increasing that range by an additional 1,000 feet per spell level. 1,000 feet is about a third of a kilometer, if you want to think of it in that term. It's a pretty big distance. So if your intent is to kind of kick it within a couple hundred feet outside the doors, you should encompass the majority of the building and be able to kind of like almost do a perimeter and see what you can see in a short amount of time, if this is the plan.
I might even put, let me make sure I can do this. If I can put a first in it, I would probably do that. It might have to be equivalent spell level. What is the wording here? Oh, it is? Okay.
So 4th.
So then
minimum.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do it just in case.
Putting a
quick question. If you're can you cast it again if you use the slot? Is that how it works from what I remember, Kyle?
You get a free base level locate creature and locate object. And then to use the enhanced version, just uses your spell through it. So like you can just keep doing it. You just gotta keep burning spell slots. So it's like giving you the spell to cast.
If we don't find what we need within an hour, are you comfortable burning another 4th? If you burn it here, is my question. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not really doing a lot.
I mean,
for now.
we can always get into shit here. That's what we've learned.
Maybe I'll use the free slot. I could use the free slot for an hour and then just see what happens from there. Okay. Good spell slot management.
Sure. I mean, even at the 4th level, 2,000 feet for an hour, you can cover a good amount of distance with that. But a free cast is a free cast. Within 1,000 feet. So you guys begin making your way across the park. And it is kind of an interesting little jaunt as you're making your way across, as there is some vegetation here. There's some trees, and they're kind of surrounded by these interesting patterned like rock areas, and there's certain little sitting areas. And you can see that there's this skinny long park with like little winding paths and little like ponds and things, and it's just a nice little area. You can see people are like sitting around and having lunch now that it is well into Gordon knows it's exactly 2:12, and it is getting later into the day as you guys have spent 2 hours meditating. People are enjoying kind of a later lunch and just relaxing and walking about as they wander this kind of expansive rock garden. You do see some statues and busts decorating the midst of the park that are kind of interesting, but beyond this soaring, almost graceful structure that rises kind of like a multi-tiered spire over the park in the heart of this ward is your goal. And you make your way across in a few short minutes. And you cast locate creature.
Heck yeah.
Are we finding any kind of cover before you do this? Just walking
Yeah,
down
like
the
if you could all
street.
circle around me or something, or even look for cover. Maybe hang
Even
by
like
a
try to
tree.
just make it look like we're chilling in the park or something, where we're within a distance.
Like college kids sitting on the grass.
Yeah,
Do you want me to take a shit as a distraction?
this is a very
No,
nice...
no, that's all right.
No, I don't. No,
Just
thank
say
you.
the word.
Not, I understand. Appreciate it.
So, I'm just reading the specifics of the spell. Describe or name a creature that is familiar to you. You sense the direction to the creature's location as long as that creature is within 1,000 feet. If the creature is moving, you know the direction. The spell can locate a specific creature known to you or the nearest creature of a specific kind. If the creature you described or named is in a different form, such as being under the effects of polymorph, the spell doesn't locate the creature. The spell, it basically stops as long if there are running water at least 10 feet wide blocks the direct path between you and the creature. So from within just on the edge of this kind of rock garden park area, you can see kind of there's a rise of steps that would lead up out of the recessed kind of park area and would rise up another couple of set of steps towards this interesting spire-like building. And you can see the spire is still towering far above your head, and you guys are kind of right underneath where the bridge element of the path of the main road split away above here. You're like right in the middle of it, and you're kind of in there's not really sun, but there is some faint shadow here. So using some of the shadow and some just like areas of like there's a sitting area, and you're all just kind of crowding around Val as you cast through the Wayfinder Sphere. Locate creature, locating Mordenkainen.
Right.
The Wayfinder Sphere kind of clicks and shifts and opens up, and you can see that kind of interior blue light that just kind of boom, faintly glows out and then kind of all contracts once more. And as it kind of rotates in midair right in front of you, you can see this kind of faintly dotted aura of almost like dust particles of this blue magic energy all kind of around the golden sphere or the brass sphere. And you can sense through the magic of it and through like the kind of direction that the energy is kind of forming. It's forming in the direction of the hall, and then it stops and kind of falls back. And then it kind of starts going that way, and then it kind of drifts, and then it stops, and it like fades. And it's like there's like interference.
That's interesting. We did get a blurry picture back when Kaliroot tried to use whatever magic he had to find out where he is, so this kind of tracks.
Fancy ass Magic People Tower absolutely has some kind of protections on it. Makes sense.
Magic does what magic does.
I don't know, this is all your bag.
Speaking of, I'm gonna put it back in the bag for now. I think we go forward and just start making friends, seeing what we can find out.
So, quick question: that's a concentration spell, Kyle?
Yep.
Okay.
Although
so
if you put the device away, essentially it's like stopping the spell. Like the device has to be out and about.
Could I like hide it a bit?
Be tough. That's kind of the downside of the. It's like a soccer ball.
I know. Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, that's the downside of it.
No, I'll put it away. It'll be too suspicious to like walk in with it. I think it'll give us a bad vibe.
Okay.
Do you agree with that, Mary? I don't want to just make the choice, but it feels.
No, I mean it's your
What do
spell
you guys
slots.
Well, that was just
Yeah, we can always
the
cast
free
again.
cast.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Anyone's after this are his spell slots. So
That's true.
I'll put it away then.
You guys are full strength. What are you worried about?
You're just always
You're
ready.
You're like
Always ready for
17th
something.
level. You're full. You're fine.
We know you're about to put us in like a dungeon crawl. It's gonna last 3 months.
Wouldn't do that. You guys begin making your way forward to the Hall of Speakers and kind of rise up out of this rock park area. And you do see there are massive kind of double doors set in the front of this. Weirdly, it's like kind of like it rises up like a dome, like it's kind of like a hill of smoothed stone or marble, but there is kind of a walkway up and this kind of flared door, and then rising from the rock itself, these massive kind of spires, all like as if drawn up like candles. But there's one central spire that is the most impressive. You make your way towards this kind of hilled hall of speakers, and the doors are already ajar, and you can faintly see some people moving within, though not a lot. And as you kind of make your way up and in, there is an immediate sense as you cross the threshold, this shifting in your minds and in your senses. It's actually what it is when you click on the noise canceling of your AirPods, everything else outside just dulls to nothing, and it is a hyper focus of the sound from within this building. You can hear the kind of clacking of footsteps and boots on the marble tile of this space. Very few voices. The few you hear are muffled and faintly echoing off the stone. And you don't see a lot of people, but what you do see is as you enter, there's this kind of faint little rotunda room, and then it leads into a curved hallway that just kind of curves out and away left and right. Directly across from you, you see like this large double door into another room that you can't quite make out. But above it, you can see this kind of open atrium. Light is kind of splaying down in, and you can just faintly see like there's some like elements of like glowing orbs kind of floating in amongst the upper reaches of that tall spire, and it kind of casts this very faint, like faintly pinky purple light all about the space. It's just faintly kind of like calming. As you enter though, coming around the corner from the right, you see two figures. One, a almost like pearlescent skinned female figure. She is white hair, kind of done up in a little bit of like a ponytail that just kind of falls about, and some curls that fall around the sides of her face. Very almost elven, like long drawn, feminine, like sharper features. Very beautiful. And her eyes, you can tell even at a distance as she kind of looks across you all quickly as she's kind of making her way past, they're like a piercing red. Not dressed in any particularly interesting garb, just like a nice, well-made and mildly expensive kind of material and outfit. The figure beside her, kind of similar, male, white hair, golden colored eyes, very slender features. Wears a long blue jacket or cloak. You can see has a hood, but it's not currently up. Tall leather boots and a white high collared shirt with this yellow golden scarf that's kind of tied around the nape of the neck. The two of them are in kind of quiet discussion, but both kind of look in your direction. Just kind of each at the same time, like eyes you up and down and stops talking before like kind of continuing walking, and they're about to kind of cross your path. Gord, I'd like you to make a perception check for me.
27.
Jesus.
My God.
Gord, as you are kind of, slightly to the back of the group, as is kind of typical, you can see these people are maybe 30-ish feet ahead of you as they're kind of passing by in front. And there's just a brief moment as you watch both of them are just kind of walking idly, and the male begins to kind of like shift on the inside track to kind of continue turning around the other side of this kind of curved hallway, and it kind of begins to put this woman in between you and the rest of the group. There's a moment where his face and features kind of twitch and shift as you're able to almost see through something. What do you do?
I'll tell everyone about it.
Okay. Do you do so quietly?
Sure.
Make a stealth check for me.
$24.
Oh, great rolls tonight.
Very good rolls. Gord leans forward to quickly kind of say, well, what is it you say, Gord?
Let's tell everyone what I just saw. I'll lay it all out.
As you do, you, Valentine, Hondo, and Mary, you catch that both of these figures kind of begins to quicken their pace ever so slightly as they begin kind of curving around the other way. To the rest of you, there's nothing different.
Like as they saw us?
Yeah, and not even as they saw you, as you have this moment to like talk, and almost as like you're kind of casually trying to look back to see what it was Gord saw, you catch as they're kind of coming around the corner, they quicken their pace just ever so slightly. Instead of a casual walk, it's now kind of a hurried walk.
Why don't we follow after those folks if they're so spooked by us?
Then confront them.
Well, we're trying to make friends. Let's follow after.
Are they, Kyle, sorry, they came from just like around a bend? Like we couldn't see.
When you guys look in, it's almost like an oval building. And there's like an outer hallway that goes around the entirety of the building. And you can see it goes off left and it goes off right. They were coming around this way. The door was here, kind of passed across here. And as Gord caught this male figure, something shifted visually, let you all know that. And as you guys had that moment, they just kept going. And as they kind of hurried, they kind of began to curve out and away out of sight. If you guys are looking to keep pace, you'll need to get moving. And if you're looking to keep pace stealthily, you'll need to make stealth checks.
Let's do it. Come on now, stealth checks, everybody.
Stealth checks all around if you're looking to try and be a little inconspicuous.
Not great.
Okay.
What's not great for you?
17.
Oh, I got a 17 as well.
Not terrible.
Yeah, not
There's
terrible.
a 5 on the dice. Like, I forgot how high my stealth was.
Got an 18.
Oh, nice, Brawley.
Yeah.
Nice.
Henry, take us home. Henry, milkshake still?
I got 12 and
Plus
17.
Yeah.
12 and 17? Oh my
He's a
God.
rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff. He's a rogue.
Crazy.
Gord, or milkshake, my apologies. Stealth.
Milkshake.
22.
You're rolling really good tonight.
22.
Let's see. 17, 17, 18, 1,000, and then 22.
That's right.
Okay. You guys begin to kind of just ever so slightly kind of stumble over each other as you're trying to like, oh shit, we're gonna, okay, let's go. And everyone kind of begins making their way in and trying to be as quiet as you can, following behind. As you come around the corner, you only see one figure. You see this female figure. You do no longer see the male figure.
God, do we have any like?
She begins kind of she's continuing walking, still at
I
this
have
kind
a-
of hurried pace.
I have a feature that lets me try to spot invisible creatures.
Yeah, fuck yeah, do it.
Go ahead. Perception check. So if they're invisible, is it just still straight up perception check, or is it a disadvantage because it would be an
That's up
against
to
invisible-
you. I don't know.
invisible creature.
What does the thing
Specifically,
say?
It's like
it's,
a bonus action to make a perception check.
essentially, I can find it. It is is you can use your bonus action to make a perception check to spot a hidden creature or object, or to make an investigation check to decipher clues. Like, I think it's up to you. I mean, it's mostly just it only uses a bonus action instead of your action, I think is kind of what it is, but...
I'm going to call it disadvantage, I think.
Sure. Okay. Well, the first one's a 17.
Well, no, use that first one, because you're collectively doing it. It's just something that you have the ability to do, but you're all looking, so imagine you have aid.
Okay.
Straight roll.
So 17 plus 7. So 24.
Okay. Though you only see one individual, the hurried footsteps sound like dual sets as they're kind of clacking off of the boots are kind of clicking on the steps, on the tile. You can hear when she is not stepping, you hear another step as you're now like really focused, and it's weirdly silent. And as I was kind of saying, everything is like hyper focused that you can kind of make that distinction out. That being said, she looks back at all of you, kind of hurriedly following as she turns, and with a sudden kind of turn to a smile, kind of makes her way towards you and says, I'm sorry, I didn't see you make your way in. Can I help you?
Do we still hear that second set of footsteps keep going? Sorry.
You would catch that just past with your perception. You catch that it continues while she turns to talk to you.
Also, is she lying?
Also, what?
Is she lying?
Oh,
like
she didn't say anything that is either.
She said,
fact.
I didn't see you guys there.
Yes,
oh no, I guess.
I mean, she's lying.
Yeah,
Why are you asking?
she's lying.
That's true.
Can I use my detect evil and good tattoo?
Cool, sure.
For sure, yeah. It's just the spell detect evil or good?
For the duration, if there is an aberration, celestial, elemental, fae, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, as well as where the creature is located. Similarly, if there is a place or object within 30 feet of you that has been magically consecrated or desecrated. The spell can penetrate most barriers, but it is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
Okay. 30 feet was the range, sorry?
Yes.
As you kick that out with the kind of in the middle of the group, your tattoo kind of flares ever so slightly, and there's just this faint kind of shifting of ink, and your eyes just shift like black ink for a moment before it fades away. And you can see there is a faintly aberrant aura to this woman ahead of you. It's not a full aura, like it's hard to tell. This is the first time you've done this spell, but it's as if there's an element of her that has that aberrant element kind of connected. You can also detect a couple of other aberrant signs in and amongst the general area, kind of hidden behind doors that are closed, though nothing from ahead of you in the hallway itself. She's the only one in the hall that gives an aberrant element to you.
I'll just nudge Valentine here. I detect a slight aberrant aura on her and a few others around.
She kind of is waiting for a response still.
Yes, ma'am. It's a pleasure to meet you. No worries about not notice us first. We just want to talk to your friend. We're pretty sure we recognize him. And I'll just keep walking.
Oh, my brother. I don't believe he's mentioned you. You look like he would be someone that would mention.
Oh well, we'll just go catch him around the corner. We just haven't seen him in quite a while.
I don't think he's going to be available to speak any longer. He's got a prior engagement. I'm sorry. If there's anything I can do to help you with the speakers hall, I'm more than happy to.
Has Mary indicated, or did we all notice the invisibility thing, or?
No, that would be a Mary thing.
Sure, if you wanted to help us out, maybe we can catch up with your brother later. Yeah, we come from a place, kind of accidentally stumbled here into the cage, but we come from the material plane where there's a lack of balance with the planes around it, and we're we were over at the Transcendent Hall and talking to them and their order, and they mentioned coming this way because we might have something in common to talk about the planes and how we might be able to align on that.
Interesting. You're not really being entirely deceptive, but you're being partially deceptive. Do you want to play this as persuasive or deceptive?
Persuasive.
Okay, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
They're the same to me, but I wasn't trying to lie. 25.
That's what I was saying. Like it wasn't entirely a lie, but it was like dodging exactly what it is you're doing. Exactly. You see her kind of this like somewhat robotic and like kind of guarded exterior drop ever so slightly, and she just says, "Oh my, then you come to the right place. Perhaps there is a place we can talk more about this. This seems like something we should speak about. There's follow me." And she begins kind of heading back the way you came, provided you follow.
I like it married just to see what she wants to do here because I have no idea where the other thing is.
Yeah, we're in a pretty open area. We also have no idea who these people are. Sorry, you said that there were like, it was just tile or it was steps in the direction they were going?
Tile. It's just like marble
Just
tile,
tile.
like just a flat space all the way around from as far as you can see.
Okay. I mean, it's open here. It would be very suspicious to like sneak off. I'm gonna just try to clock anything I can in terms of direction. And again, these could just be some randos. We don't know what the fuck is going on. So I don't want to do anything rash.
If you guys follow, she leads you right back the way you came, past the door you entered in, past the kind of big doors immediately to the left, and kind of down an identical hallway on the right side. And about halfway down, there's been kind of doors all along the way. Some are open and you can see just small like sitting areas. One is open and you can see like a large like boardroom type table. There's nobody at it. You pass another figure at a certain point. Hondo, an aberrant spark kind of flares all about this figure. Though they appear human, you can tell they're not fully human. There's something going on there as they just pass you by, giving you no mind, but paying you no mind, I mean. But she leads you
like a university campus building, kind of like there's just like a bunch of little like offices and.
That's exactly what it kind of feels like. About halfway down on the right side, she stops in front of a room and opens the door, and you can just see there's been kind of names to some of these different rooms. Some of them that you could see that on the doors or above the doors. This one reads the Zoetic Room, means nothing to you, but she opens it up, and inside you see maybe about a 30, maybe 45 foot long and wide room. There's a burning fireplace. There's a couple of nice comfy looking chairs. Kind of looks like a nice little sitting area, a little like tea room or a place that you could just have a nice quiet conversation in. There's a window that looks out onto like another wide open street out into the clerk's ward. Not quite with a view of the garden area, but still like a nice kind of like terrace area. She just kind of gestures for you all to come in and sit.
Yeah, no, after you ladies first.
Well, thank you. She makes her way in and walks over and begins kind of collecting like a decanter from the one side and kind of pouring some water into a series of glasses as you come in. She kind of brings this tray of glasses of water and sets it on this kind of table in the middle of the room. As you all filter into the room, she kind of looks to the door and it just shuts on its own. And in one of the chairs by the table, you see a glass of water kind of just begin to kind of float up into the air as a figure pulls back a hood, and you see Mordenkainen, bald, goateed, kind of lounging back, and you can see the same outfit that that other male was wearing as he takes a sip of the water and says, "Well, what the hell are you doing here?"
Oh, nice to see you again.
There's
We've
a little
been through a lot
disdain in
together.
that.
I was actually just checking to see if you knew who we were. That's a peculiar trick.
A peculiar trick. Which one? The invisibility, the alter self, or the clone?
No, the you being alive thing after you asked us to kill you.
It is a good trick. Well, it's a good trick. Didn't exactly,
it really is.
Didn't exactly expect to end up here, I'll be honest. It was not exactly a miscalculation, but when you spend nearly 500 years, you kind of forget where all the bits and pieces to your plans have gone.
By the way, I don't mean to be rude. Who is this nice lady to you?
This is Kiora. She's a friend to you if you're a friend to me.
Friend, eh? And I wink at him.
He kind of gives little eyebrow. Says,
Keep it in your pants, fish man.
You exhausted?
Kiora has been very kind to me in the time that I've come back to this city, several hundred years past my last moment in any city. Many years ago, I knew her, well, I suppose great-grandfather. He was a practitioner and a near factual leader of the Hall of Speakers at the time. We were quite close. I had hoped, I'd hoped to find some element of him here, and she is that.
Except things have changed here too. I expect you weren't prepared for the whole cage redecoration.
Well, wasn't expecting to come to the cage in general. A little less than thrilled to leave one inescapable prison for another.
Yeah, you and us both.
I will give the lady a little bit of credit, though. She kept her insurance safe. I'll give her that. It was a wise move. I thought that long destroyed.
Insurance being the cage itself or something else?
Oh, he kind of gestures to himself. Says, that little trick we spoke of, that should have long been destroyed. This place undergoes great shifts and reconstruction on a weekly basis. The little coffee shop was a nice touch, but that should have been long destroyed. There was a decided move to keep my clone safe for all these years.
The content cup. Do you think that was a punishment to you so that when you would show up here?
I think it was insurance, knowing that somehow, some way, sometime, I'd find my way back, and she would get hers. She always does.
Do you owe her something?
In a way. Made a deal. I didn't necessarily intend to weasel out of it, but being trapped for 500 years in a time prison of my own making, kind of hoped to absolve some of my sins, and in a rather clever ruse of being dead, I had hoped what I had owed would have been forgiven or forgotten. But she neither forgives nor forgets.
Well, we might have some mutual interest here because we don't want to be stuck here for 500 years. I don't think you do either.
No, however, she has made it very clear I have no way to use my old ways out. Those have been taken. I imagine you used my way in.
Mm-hmm.
That's closed to all of us now.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like we could use one another once again.
Totally agree. We'd be happy to go into a partnership like that.
So, you made your way through my door, presumably. What did you come here for?
I don't know if we ever explained that to you. There was such a rush to go through way back in the scary, spooky halls of time.
Yeah, with my death and all, I wasn't much to speak of. No, you did mention being protectors of Vesaria, and of course, a great threat, great evils, great deeds to be accomplished. That I understand. but the specifics were lost.
Mostly the material plane literally going to hell. Actually, the other way around, hell coming there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Mm-hmm. By which path?
Asmo is breaking the seals. He's already broken 3.
Wow. Wow. That's peculiar. Why now? Asmodeus has had plans long in the making beyond any of our lifetimes. I've lived a fair few myself, and he's always kept suspiciously quiet in the shadows, pulling at string. Now, an open play? Intriguing.
He has a cult that seems to be working for him, and they've been moving rather quickly on it, but we actually don't really know his motivation behind why he wants to make the play.
Well, in any good mystery, the motivation and the villain is always key. Understand both, and you'll find your way to its answer and the truth.
That's a little bit of why we're here. That's kind of what we wanted to talk to the lady about, because she might know some more about him that we could, as you once did, make a deal with her to get some information.
Kindred spirits, it would seem.
Speaking of which, what ties do you have?
Well, not all of my arcane breakthroughs were entirely of my own design. Sometimes you need a little guidance, sometimes you need a little boost. Much like yourselves, I sought a greater power. I was able to make a deal and acquire the knowledge I needed to create my escape in time and trap Tiamat and her scourge. Unfortunately, it was a deal that would have left me at the whim of the Lady of Pain. At the time, it was a deal I was willing to make. At the time, it seemed, should Tiamat and her scourge succeed, then dragon fire would rain down across all planes. It seems it only delayed the inevitable rain of fire.
Well, we find ourselves in a similar situation where we're looking to do as you did.
Well, perhaps there is a path for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
I have no desire to return to the lady, personally. She will certainly not see reason in keeping me from paying what I owe. However, I understand your needs are great, and they supersede a single individual. Perhaps there's another way. What is it you would seek from the lady?
That, as you might be able to understand, is, I don't even want to say we don't want to talk about it. We literally cannot.
He kind of looks you up and down for a second and then shakes his head. Well, this is not the first deal that you've made.
No, sir. Also, as the whole his talking about, oh, like we could potentially work together. This is what you're doing is potentially worth more than just one person. Is he bullshitting us or killing time? Because I'm just suspicious.
Go ahead and make an insight check.
Natural 20.
Nice.
He's not killing time. There's like an element of bullshitting and an element of like trying to get on your good side, make it
Like
seem
flattery.
like a little bit of flattery, a little bit of like,
Yeah.
we're the heroes together. We're the same, you and I. But there is also truth to like, he recognizes that like, he wants to live, but all of the lives of the material plane are certainly worth more than his one life or yours.
He gets it.
He gets it. He doesn't want it. He doesn't like it. Neither do you. But he does say that this is not the first deal that you've made then. I recognize that particular brand.
And you recognize that if something like that did occur, that it has its challenges.
Okay. What do you need that you can't say you need?
You similarly needed knowledge once about the enemy you were facing.
Of course. We need knowledge of something. There are many ways to acquire knowledge, hidden or otherwise. I know plenty myself, though obviously it's difficult for you to say. I know people in the city who are quite adept at acquiring hidden knowledge, for a fee, of course. But the scales are such. Material wealth is kind of unimportant.
I'll like just tap my chest, be like, Valentine, Hondo, Mary, Valentine, Amadeus, Maximilian, Samson, Francis, Fleurwild.
Kind of begins to see the pattern. Onomancy is tricky. That's a big ask. You'd hope for the Lady of Pain to know it or know the path to it.
She sounds like a smart person.
She's lived unknowable amounts of time. As much time as there has been a Lady of Pain.
We wouldn't have come here if we didn't have some indication that this was the place to get it.
One element I'll say. You seek the Lady of Pain to offer this kind of request, to give freely. That she will not do.
Yeah, we didn't expect anything for free down here.
Do you know anything about the general, and would she be interested in that?
I've come to hear some tales, though he is new to my ears. At least here. There have been many generals across the realms that I have been well aware of, though this one seems interesting in a different sense. I haven't learned a great many things about him thus far, other than his territories within the Hive and the Crimson Coin mercenaries are his to command, along with a number of Yugoloths, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I've employed Yugoloths in my time. Acquisition of such a monolithic request would require an equally impossible task in payment.
Yeah, that's what we're...
Given what I very recently have come to learn, this general is quite the thorn in her side. Perhaps it is worth coming to her with an offer. Perhaps she would ask it of you anyways. Or perhaps she would ask for your eternal servitude in her deep ethereal mazes.
Is that what she asked of you?
Not eternal, but more or less.
What if we tried to, well, I mean, we've been trying to find a way that we could speak to her and make some sort of offer. What if we were to somehow end up there and we asked her for that? What if we all, you included, worked on the get out of here plan so that she doesn't have to be a part of that? Or do you think she would be?
I think if you are already plotting to speak with her, anything you have thought about her or intend, she already knows.
That's spooky.
She kind of is. Look, I want to help you. As I say, kindred spirits. I think we can help each other.
I think so too. Can we do something for trust?
Perhaps.
I'll like put my hands up and I'll just like put my finger forward and just slowly start moving towards him to try and touch a part of him.
He kind of reaches out and just like bats your hand away.
Great.
You could just ask.
I could ask one of the most powerful wizards alive if they're actually in this room.
I already did my invisibility trick.
We know wizards. It's never just one thing.
No, that's fair. No, I'm here. I admit I am not at my full strength given my
Situation?
return to this body. And clearly, he looks over at Gord. I'm without my greatest weapon, though rightfully passed on to new bearers. And I've made many enemies through many years of a life well lived, some of whom I know will carry a grudge through generations and will pass that on through their lineage. I'm sure there are many who would happily cut me down or take me in for the right amount of coin to the right people, to take the knowledge I have, whether I'm willing to give it or not. So strength in numbers, that is a boon to me. My knowledge and my access can be a boon to you.
Sounds good to us, I think.
Excellent.
Full transparency.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be some people looking for you.
Sure.
A little
Collie
more
root?
urgently than the vague future.
Right.
Collie root, hunter squadron, those words were used earlier.
Do we know how much time we have?
48 hours from yesterday.
And it's
So
now
another 24 in a bit. Less than 24.
Less than 24. Says, okay, well, that certainly cuts our planning time significantly. Well, we need to seek the true name. If we have the true name, well, you still can't leave, but perhaps I can do something about you leaving. I may have sources to get that. We could go through the lady, though I will be off the table, and you will be indebted in some grave way. It may end there anyways, and it likely will. If she has any insight into your intent in this city, she will draw you before her at some point in time. It is only a matter of time.
We may have been making a splash in not exceptionally huge terms, but enough to catch the attention of the Crimson Coin, which I'm sure that information goes somewhere.
That does
Those
not
spooky,
surprise me.
the spooky gray things have been watching us too. Haven't you been saying that, Mary?
Spooky great.
Yeah, I do not like them.
Daybuzz.
Oh, well, if they're already on your tail, then they know. Okay, well, we're far behind. We are very far behind. What's the likelihood that they followed you here?
Fairly high, I would say.
Probably high. Mary, you said they were with us this morning, right?
There were two, and then there was only one. I couldn't keep an eye on either of them. We've had reasons to go all the places we've been going outside of our obvious reason. We've had direction to go every one of the places we've gone today from outside sources in a way that would make it seem like this is innocent.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that they don't know the true reasons, but...
Understood. But if they're around, then there's a good chance that they are going to keep an eye on this area. I suppose it's up to you how you want to play this. There's a figure in town, in a dangerous part of town, who's known as the Archivist. The Archivist knows many things. Like I say, for the right price, even such vast asks as you seek could be found. It's a possibility. It's who I would turn to.
Unfortunately, price, though I absolutely agree that you can't put a price on the whole world not dying, physically cost is an issue right now for us. I'm fairly sure, looking around the group.
I think we'd be okay.
In this case, not monetary.
Yeah.
Though
Gotcha.
possibly equally as troubling, depending on your point of view. An eye for an eye, information for information, knowledge of some kind. In truth, I don't know what they will ask, but they have access to many things. At least it could point us in the right direction. Perhaps it narrows the line down to speak to the lady. Perhaps
something else.
I don't know.
I think that's the play. Then we go talk to this guy.
At least here's out, and I mean, as you mentioned, she has an idea of what the fuck's happening anyway. Alternatively, that problem comes to us.
In truth, it seems like only a matter of time before many things fall down upon our collective heads should we stand together. A hunter squadron of inevitables. The Lady of Pain.
The general, whoever the fuck he is.
Yeah, the Crimson Coin hates us real bad, too.
Yeah, but they're fucking pieces of shit.
That could be troubling as well. I dislike not knowing my enemies.
So far, they're just kind of punk-ass people who like to shake down.
Well, yeah.
They're just trying to live their lives, but that doesn't necessarily mean that
But the general's held the lady in some sort of like stalemate for years, so like something weird going on there.
Precisely. The mercenaries are rabble. They are easily sought and dealt with. It's their numbers is troubling, but it's the head of the snake is the true problem.
I don't understand why the fuck she wouldn't have dealt with them years ago if it was this much of a problem, and she's as capable as everyone's been telling us.
More reason to give pause about his position.
Mm-hmm.
I say to you with full transparency, the Lady of Pain is one of the few figures in all of the multiverse that I truly fear. But what needs to be done needs to be done. And it seems I have less than 24 hours before I'm being hauled in anyway, so I may as well do some shenanigans with a bunch of yahoos.
That sounds right up our alley.
Yeah,
Welcome to the yahoos.
Not exceptionally inaccurate.
What do you say? We venture into the hive and seek this archivist's information? Or we make our way to the Hall of Concordance, and you can gain a reward in exchange for
Nah,
what would become of me.
that's
Let's
just
at
so
least-
boring.
I think trying to at least hear out this archivist plan, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, like you said, if this falls through,
Going into
I'd
the
be faced
heart
with it
of-
anyway.
Going into the heart of enemy territory to seek out knowledge from someone you kind of know, while we have Hondo the Blue just itching to behead someone, surrounded by enemies who want his blood. It sounds like a great time. Something we've really been missing these last couple days.
Oh, good. It's good to know you're up for anything. It makes my job easier. We have very little time to lose.
Before we begin, you should know I'm like the handsome one of this group, so that role has been taken.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Just saying.
Kind of strokes the goatee for a sec.
I like brush my hair back.
There's also going to be a moment, everyone's been using fake names, there's also going to be a moment when that man, Pointicord, is absolutely going to
Shock
just
you.
blow your mind. So just try to keep a straight face.
Do my best.
We should probably get going. Let's just...
What's your code name while we do this? What do you want us to call you?
Let's call him Enzo.
Call me
You can also come up
Mordenkainen.
with a fun voice if you want.
You want us to call you Mordenkainen out in public?
Don't call me anything out in public. He won't see me.
Oh, okay.
He pulls up his hood and he goes invisible again.
Oh, all right. I kind of liked Enzo, honestly, but yeah, that's fine.
Bye, Enzo.
Do not call me Enzo.
So we should head to
We're heading to
what is
the
that place
Hive.
called? The Hive.
I was to say, the thing is, with you leading us somewhere, not being able to see you makes that problematic.
Just go to the Hive.
Oh yeah, let's just go to the Hive.
I'll lead you from there.
You can just poke us. And tap one shoulder, we go that way. Tap the other shoulder, we're fine.
We're going to be needing to travel stealthily through there anyways. No
Mm.
need to draw attention in the Hive. Though, luckily, the Archivist is on this end of the Hive. So we
Okay.
don't have to travel too far. But we will need to make our way through what seems to be a blockade or barrier of Crimson Coin mercenaries.
Do you or Kiora have any like spare cloaks or robes we could throw over our stuff? They already know what we look like.
We absolutely lost all of the spare cloaks and shit.
You know, when fucking Primus
When-
dumped our shit everywhere.
Yeah, we kind of grabbed the important shit.
What a dick.
He just says Kiora, and Kiora kind of looks up and down each one of you, and she just kind of steps forward and asks each of you, "What color would you like?"
Oh, it's already. I feel like a rose gold color would be like really nice.
How about something inconspicuous?
She
Oh,
pulls
man.
like from like the top of your head, like draws a line, and then like pulls, and you see like a thread kind of draw out of your head, and she kind of, and you just see this fully tailored cloak appear.
Oh, throw it on. That's nice. Brawley, what color do you want?
Ooh. Do you have like a lime green?
I can manifest anything that my mind can see.
Okay. Lime green.
She does the same move, and a lime green tailored cloak appears on Browley. Hondo, Gord, Mary.
I'll take a milky purple.
Same deal. And this kind of milky purple appears around Hondo.
It's just like, we just had a conversation about being stealthy, and I'm now seeing Skittles in front of me. Just hands in the air. Gray.
Right? Gord, what color would you like?
Yellow.
You got it. A yellow cloak forms over Gord. just hear like a faint, invisible sigh, and then, all right.
Yeah, I'm pinching the bridge of my nose at this whole situation and just trying to fight off
I'm just
migraine
looking
that's
at it
absolutely
like-
working the way in there.
It's so nice. It's soft. It's so soft.
If we take, I need 10 minutes. Give us 10 minutes before we leave, and I'll be ready to go. Is there any other preparations you need? Now's the time.
We just had to sit in a circle for 2 hours. So maybe like a snack or something. We can just eat our rations, but then I think we'd be good to go.
I can accomplish this while you eat.
Okay.
Is there anything you guys want to do in this time? As you hear Mordenkainen kind of open, like you can hear a book open, a heavy tome, and then you hear kind of faintly arcane mutterings.
Anything we want to look up?
Good.
How long does Legend Lore take if we want anything there? Is there anything we have in Legend Lore? Like, the only other thing I could think of is like this archivist, but like,
Just know his name though. Nah, I feel good. I just want to eat some food, have a little water. I really want to make sure Hondo gets some sort of like salt water intake after all the sweat he's lost. So I'm just kind of like monitoring that.
Oh, that's good. He rebounds good.
Honest, that guy who works out so hard like the day after drinking, like, and he's just like, gotta sweat it out, folks. Just gotta grind it out.
he's also, has the, didn't we establish that he has the, like, instead of getting gray hairs because he's slightly older, it's like little gray scales on the temple, looking a little more
some darkened
gentlemanly.
scales.
Mm-hmm.
It's a handsome
When
man.
you're on the ship, as I am, you build a conditioning that,
Yeah.
You recover from storms easily.
Damn.
What a storm that was.
Kyle, I just confirming, I'm pretty sure I said this last game and I would have kept it the same of foregoing my shield for now in favor of Hat of Disguise just in case.
Yep.
I would have kept the same thing from this morning.
In that case, unless there's anything else, there's a faint kind of in front of your eyes, like about a couple inches in front of your eyes. There's this sudden symbol, like traced symbol. And you can kind of faintly see these like blue runes, and it just kind of goes right into like your third eye, right in the middle of your forehead. And you hear Mordenkainen's voice in your mind say, "We are collectively bonded telepathically, hence the no need for me to be seen, to be heard. Keep in mind, we can all hear what you're thinking. So please,
Yeah, you
PG
absolutely may regret this decision." Looking at Hondo.
Hondo, think
Go for
PG
it.
thoughts.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Think of the ocean.
That's all I try and think of. And then I think of a kraken, and I think of the tentacles rising up. Like, no, 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 no.
I picture Lab's art book.
Oh
I'm
no!
like,
Stop!
Oh no! Get it out!
Stop thinking about it.
Okay. With Mordenkainen's telepathic directions, there's no need for you guys to make any checks to make your way through the city. However, as you make your way from the clerk's ward towards the hive, it's about from here about 45 minutes to an hour to the barrier between. And from a distance, you can see indeed there is this kind of makeshift barrier made between. You can see there's a path open between kind of a makeshift bunch of like pieces of wood, and you can see fallen stone. There's carts that have been kind of piled up and made into this very obvious kind of base bunker. And there are multiple Crimson Coin members at a distance that you can see are kind of positioned up high with like those long rifles at the ready, some standing at the base, and you can see they're basically taking a toll as people come and go. Where it kind of in your mind says, well, I can make it through no problem, but we've got 5 multicolored figures out here. How do you want to play this?
They know us as a group, so we should probably shouldn't just group up. We should try and go through as individuals.
I mean, I can look like them if I need to. So can actually a good number of our party.
Probably, do you have that on right now, your tattoo?
Yeah, I'm attuned to it.
So you could be someone else. Hondo can do that too, can't he?
What, disguise self?
Yeah.
I can disguise self, yes.
Why don't you guys
Gord?
not look like you? I don't know if Gordo can.
Or do you have
All right.
disguise stuff? Mordenkainen
cast.
also mentally says, if any of you are in need, I can also alter your form to one that is much more easily concealable.
Or
Like-
invisibility. Don't people have invisibility?
I do.
It's no fun to be invisible. I'll cast disguise self and look like our good friend, the Rotier.
Jesus.
Inconspicuous.
A red-skinned tiefling adorned in dark robes.
My hand immediately goes to my sword. Just like
Anyone, we've met thousands of people, and let's just go with the
big bad.
worst man.
He's a tiefling. Brawley, you cast disguise self on yourself?
Yep, I tap it, and I'm gonna be this really pretty elf with long red hair.
Okay. The disguise self doesn't alter your height, so you are shorter. Keep that in mind. But it doesn't make a difference. You can still be a shorter elf. Just
Okay.
keeping in mind that you are not suddenly like a 7-foot tall elf.
Okay.
But an
Oh my god, you
elven.
could be like a little kiddo.
Yeah.
A little kiddo elf.
Aww.
Easily enough, and your tattoo kind of rolls across your form. So we've got 2 disguised selves. We got Mary with the disguised self.
Yeah, my plan was to go Crimson Vine. Everyone kind of went the opposite direction. How are we going to group up if we are at all before I make my decision?
we can use our minds.
We
No.
do have.
Are we going in pairs? Is it people individually? That's my question.
Let's go through in like a 2 and a 3. Well, actually, I might just go invisible, to be honest.
Oh wow,
Boring.
that's right. I just kind of realized that there's this communication is possible over any distance.
Oh. Cool.
Telepathic bond. It's a tight spell. Sorry, I missed. Scott, what'd you say?
I think I'll go invisible. That's like the best thing I could do. It's a lower level spell. I think I could get away with that.
Straight level 2 invisibility.
Yeah, if I get a glance, does it seem like that'd be possible? What's this blockade setup look like? Does it seem like if I was pretty stealthy, I could slink by this invisible?
Yeah, it seems like it's certainly more of obviously a stealth challenge to just try and either use a distraction of somebody else or use just a pick in the right moment and then darting forward stealthily to try and just get through. It's wide enough that you can move carts through. So it's
Great.
10 to 15 feet wide in the open space. Just instead of the 30-foot wide street, it's half as wide. And on either side, you've got armed mercenaries. So should it go poorly, it's going to go very poorly.
That's all right.
But the same thing with our disguised self figures are going to have to either pay a toll or make their way through charismatically in some other way. Mary, you're going to look Crimson Coin?
Well, I was going to ask, have we seen any other, as we're walking, or as we can see from here, are there any other Crimson Coin people who have passed through this?
You haven't seen any yet, but you've only been here, you're still kind of coming up to it. It'll be only a couple of minutes by the time you guys have kind of tucked off and done these spells. You haven't seen any yet.
I'm a little nervous because she's basically incapable of lying. So if they're like, hey, what the fuck? And they try to ask her literally any question, it's going to go poorly. As opposed to just pretending to be a rando who needs to get in there. Of the other people who have walking through on this street, does it look like a specific, class of people? Is it people who are,
You're seeing a lot more lower class. You're seeing a lot more working hands. And you're seeing a lot more classic lower planes races and creatures who would fall into the domain of the lower planes. So there are a significantly higher grouping of tieflings here. You see demonic style creatures. You see people of all races and genders, but there is a kind of a dirtier side to this city. So think in that term.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just go with the half-orc form she's used before.
Perfect.
I can actually speak that language in case anything comes up. Just with like standard looking like merchanty kind of clothes, I guess.
And Gord, are you going disguise self, invisible? What are you doing?
I'll disguise self.
Okay, what do you want to look like?
Ned Tugent, baby.
He does fit pretty well with this scum of the earth, this just horrid grouping of people from the lower planes. Fits pretty well.
A classic, an oldie but a goldie.
Okay, then as you guys begin to make your way, who goes first here? Because presumably you're doing this somewhat scattered.
I'll try and go through with Brawley at some point, but I can't go first. I'm invisible. I'm gonna try and like go with someone, try and beat them.
Yep.
Yeah, we can go at the front.
Okay. Then let's see. Brawley, as you make your way forward in this kind of elven form, this slightly shorter but still rather beautiful elven form, you hear a couple like wolf whistles from some of the upper like kind of watchtower figures who have got these their rifles trained on you. And as the two individuals at the front here, you can see one is a female half-orc, the other a male blue-skinned tiefling, both wearing the full Crimson Coin getup. They kind of look to you, kind of talk amongst each other and say, "Well, you're not from around these parts, are you?"
Who's asking?
Well, it's my job to ask. You want to come through here? Where are you headed?
This way.
Go ahead and make a intimidation check.
I was gonna say this is definitely intimidating, and I love her.
Oh my god, it's a natural 20.
Yes, I love it.
I actually forgot. I was going to say you have advantage for the disguise self, but natural 20 is the way to go. As he just kind of backs down and the half-orc kind of punches him in the shoulder. Says, "Leave her alone. 3 gold and you can get through."
I'll just take them out and give them the 3 gold.
Be on your way. She kind of just steps back. As you make your way through, no problem. Now, Valentine, I need you to make a stealth check at advantage, being invisible.
Hey.
And trying to just tiptoe right behind Brawley as she just strides through. No problem.
I'm gonna add in my bardic thing with this too, even though it's really good, but I want to make it real nice. Man, what is my bardic right now? Is it a 12? Oh my god, it is a 12. That's crazy. So 22 plus 5 is 27.
Yeah, you feel very confident that as at the moment that Brawley kind of pushes back and they both kind of step back, you see a moment where like there's a gap between as they both step back. Brawley's still kind of outside, but you sneak ahead and you actually beat Brawley through, and then she follows through immediately, invisibly. The two of you are on the other side and just kind of begin making your way just casually down the street, and you both now see kind of this side of the street. Think like Diagon Alley. Like that's what it looks like the whole way, though a little wider street, less imposing, but it still kind of feels like that. It's darker, it's dingier. You get the air is thicker with smog and this kind of faintly sulfurous smell.
I'll give her hand like a little playful squeeze to like show that I got through too.
Who's up next?
Which one of you bitches up next?
I'll go up.
You make your way forward, and the same pair are there, though this female half-orc seems to take the lead. She says, "What's your business in the hive?"
work? Doesn't it always fucking work? And I'd already going through pockets as if like I'm used to this.
Make a deception check.
I don't know. It is fucking good. Oh, I rolled good for me. 16.
I was gonna say with advantage, but that's good.
Well, the first one was better. I rolled a 15 on the dice the first time and a 10 the second time.
She looks you up and down and says, "Where do you work?" As she's kind of putting her hand out for 3 gold, seeing as you would have been perceptive enough to catch the cost that Brawley paid.
Yeah.
I would give you that. And you're already kind of motioning like 3 gold to pass through, but she still asks, where is it you work?
Whatever my fucking dumbass boss sends me.
All right, jeez.
Sorry. Bad fucking just like swearing in Orcish under my breath. And like making a motion of going through pockets.
All right, hurry up. Come on.
Yeah. I pull out the money.
She takes the money and just kind of shoves you past. No worries. Hondo and
good shit.
Hondo and Gord. Who goes now?
I'll go.
Okay. This like heavily adorned, robed tiefling strides forward, and the half orc again kind of steps up and says, it just kind of looks at you. You look like you're about to say something. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm not.
Okay. She says, "What's your business in the hive?"
How do you do? I'm here to do business with you and people like you.
She taken aback, and the other guy kind of stifles a little bit of a laugh. She looks you up and down and says, "I don't think you're used to these parts."
I've never been around here, but I'm ready to try.
Take your fucking salesman ass out of the hive. Turn around. Come on. What do you do?
I'll tell you what. I'll make it worth your while. Let me in.
The tiefling kind of pulls the half orc back. Says, hey, if you're looking to make it our while, it's a heavy toll to get through these gates here.
What are we talking? What are we talking? Bricks, mortar, silver, gold. I got it all.
He kind of looks you up and down, looks over at the half orc and says, it's a 10 gold toll.
You drive a hard bargain, but you got it.
They both kind of look at each other, and he puts his hand out and says, pay up and get on your fucking way, you weirdo.
I give him 10 and I say, I hope to come in contact with you again, you fine gentlemen.
Just kind of like, they both just kind of shrug. It's like, go through.
I like catch up to Alana, but can hear this behind me, and I'm just like trying to keep my lips tight. I'm just like, keep walking, just keep fucking walking.
Great shit. Good stuff.
They both pocket the extra gold, and having made some money off you. They're not above being bribed. This is kind of bread and butter. As Gord, you begin to make your approach. What do you do?
What are my options?
The tiefling kind of looks to you in this older human form. Says, hey, old timer, where is it you're headed?
I'm headed for freedom.
Freedom ain't through here, friend. You best turn back the other way.
Are you telling me this is a conspiracy?
No conspiracy here. Just general's territory. You don't look like you'll survive it. Unless you got some coin, you better turn around.
Oh, I got some coin. I'll give him 1 platinum.
You pull the platinum out, and the half-orc woman just kind of pushes him out of the way and like grabs it from you and says, go on, you crazy old fuck. Try not to die. And she kind of bites
you. Yell out a big old, yeehaw!
You loudly make your way through the barrier as they kind of bite down the platinum, and the tiefling jumps at her to like try and like snag it, and she's just like holding him back. But the group of you have made it through successfully in a myriad of ways.
That was not what I was referring to. with our friend over there, but it was equally entertaining.
Yeah.
Mordenkainen says, well, that was something. Everyone just continue moving forward. At the next large intersection, take a right and look for there's a series of unmarked buildings. They all look like townhouses. There's one with a particular inscription on the window. I'll meet you there. Everyone go ahead and make perception or investigation checks.
Come on.
Nope, natural one.
Oof. 17.
Pardon me.
10 and 14, 24.
Nice. Good work, Hondo.
7.
Gord and Val, what'd you get again?
I got 17.
Okay.
And Gordo, you'd be doing either perception or what was it, investigation?
Yeah. Perception is probably your better suit, but either perception or investigation are your choice.
He might be AFK.
Oh, okay. No worries. Collectively, even though you're all kind of finding your own way, for those of you who rolled below 15, you're just keeping your eyes to the very, very sketchy populace of this area. Every corner has a group of people who are all kind of like just hanging out in the shadow, all kind of looking, and everything is a little shifty, and everything is you're looking to kind of keep yourselves close. Alana, especially in this particularly attractive form of this elven figure, especially in this kind of different area, you're getting a lot of eyes in your direction. Val, you pick up a couple of figures who begin to kind of trail and follow at a distance, a heavy distance, and they don't particularly look like trouble to you or Allie for that matter, but they're still nonetheless just kind of, you've got a couple of figures who are just kind of watching and following. But after about 20-25 minutes, using the telepathy to kind of guide some of the others who've kind of got a little lost, you do come across the exterior of a building that is as nondescript as Mordenkainen said. Multicolored brick stained with soot and grime. You'd see a strip of townhouses, all kind of look in the same style of structure, jammed in together and interconnected. That makes it kind of difficult to distinguish any difference between them. However, there is one particular difference to this building that you spot. A single door stands recessed into the right side, and a multi-paned bay window fills the left. It's fogged over and blurred around the edges, though you can see kind of faintly through it, vague stacks of things kind of fill the space. But in the very middle, only discernible by a fair amount of you with your very keen adventuring eyes, but to the layman, it would be a very challenging thing to spot. As it catches the light just right, almost etched into the panes of glass, you can see two angular eyes, thin animal-like eyes, kind of etched in the glass. They almost, where the light catches, it almost seems to follow and watch. As you guys have all kind of gathered, this is not on the main drag. It's kind of down a couple of, almost down like an alley offshoot. You guys watch as Mordenkainen kind of appears. You see him pulling the hood back and he begins just kind of appearing before you and says, I'm going to go in with you and just begin communication with the archivist. However, I'm going to need you to take charge in explaining what you want, and he's going to require whoever asks to be the one to pay the information.
Okay, that seems fair. I'll drop my invisibility.
How do we ask without asking? Is the question to our main group. And also, what do we have to offer?
So DM question.
Mhm.
We could ask for this name. We just can't ask why we need the name.
Yeah.
Or we can't reveal. That would be breaking the contract.
Yeah, you can say that you need Asmodeus' true name. That's not
Mhm.
part of the contract. You just can't say Mephistopheles told us to get the true name of the devil
Mhm.
because we want to use the last word. Like, if you say all that, you're fucked. But you can say, you can say as much as without naming
That.
the last word or Mephistopheles, pretty much anything else. It's
Oh,
very
okay, good.
the specific clause is mentioning more Mephistopheles.
In it, yeah, okay.
The only thing I can think of we could offer in exchange is we still have a rubbing
I thought about
of
that too.
the Carval thing.
Mm-hmm. Which is Carval's deal with actually Mepho for those souls that like go there. Remember we told the Baba Yaga about that. And she was like,
we
"That's old
gave her
news."
the originals.
Someone told us that was old news to them, though. But yeah,
No.
The
The Baba Yaga was very interested in it. That's what we actually made the deal with. The original contract, not so much, but it was the addendum that she was really interested in.
Who told us it was old news?
Gambino? Or
wasn't it the guy in hell?
Mepho, or was it someone
Yeah.
else?
I thought it was him.
Oh well, that's a good point though. Do we still? I think we still have these reliefs, so we could offer them. We might have to do a favor for this guy.
No, we have the reliefs, or do we take more than one rubbing? I can't remember.
I think we said there's a rubbing back at Oots, and that we have one as well.
The original like tile is in the Platinum Sanctuary.
In the Platinum Sanctuary.
You guys, I thought, gave a rubbing, the only rubbing you had at the time.
Yeah,
so
that's
right.
Right.
It wouldn't have been, troubling for you guys to make another rubbing. I just don't know that you would have thought to do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
You gave the one to the Baba Yaga, you kept the original tiles in the Platinum Sanctuary, and then kind of didn't think much more of it because at that time you were dealing with Mephistopheles.
Well, we know that knowledge, so that's something we
you
can
have the
barter
knowledge, but you don't have the rubbing, I would say.
So let's just see what he says. We can kind of play it. We have some soul coins. I mean, we're a capable group of being able to get knowledge. We could see what he wants to know.
Do you go in looking as you do? I think you currently have 4 disguised figures, and Valentine is now visible.
It's up to you guys.
Do you think it's safer for us to drop it so it looks like we're not hiding anything, just in case they can see through?
My concern is for you can only do that once a day, right?
Yeah.
But I could cast invisibility on us on the way out.
I suppose it would be fair to say Mordenkainen would give you the heads up that illusions will not provide you as much protection in here. That doesn't mean drop it.
Yeah, up to you guys. You can keep it if you feel good.
I'll just switch it so I still look like myself, but not, just wearing not ridiculously shiny armor.
Okay. Mordenkainen looks to you all and says, if you're ready, I'll set things up.
Let's do it.
All right. He enters into the door, and there's a little bell that dings as the door swings inward. And inside, it's a musty smell of old parchment, ink, smoke, and that constant kind of sulfur brimstone smell that seems to be all pervasive through this area that you've been in now. It's dimly lit. It's quiet. There's the crackle of fire in a hearth. Across the room, you can see it's about a maybe 60-foot long room, maybe 30, 45 feet wide, maybe a little longer. There's a table, there's some bookshelves of old books. You can see lots of cobwebs have gathered, and there's dust across everything. There's a cauldron at the far end that faintly is kind of bubbling, and you can see there's a faint fire crackling beneath. There's an individual sat kind of beside this bubbling cauldron at a small desk beside this kind of spiral staircase in the far right corner. As you enter in, following Mordenkainen's lead, you see this figure kind of turn its back initially to you. It turns, and you see a well-groomed jackal humanoid creature. He's clothed in fine robes and jewels. As he turns, you can see the glint of a tiny pair of spectacles at the bridge of this long snout. Brown fur, piercing eyes, even at a distance, these like bright yellow eyes that are reminiscent of the eyes you saw in the window on the way in.
Mm.
The ears kind of perk and shift, and a curling smile, this long, like jackal-like smile, as he stands and very quietly kind of begins to make his way, kind of shifting across, and this kind of weird, kind of semi-serpentine shifting movement. Mordenkainen, you come once more into my shop, and you bring friends. Interesting, very interesting. Mordenkainen introduces himself once more, and just they have a quiet conversation between each other, establishing that he's brought you here to make a deal, to seek some information. And then he kind of steps to the side. And this figure kind of steps towards us. Please enter, come in. Let me see you.
Hi there. Nice to meet you.
A pleasure. And what is your name?
My name's, you can call me Val.
Val. Excellent. He slowly introduces and meets each of you in kind and gestures for you to sit at a table in the middle of this main room. He kind of looks over you all through these little spectacles. So, how can the archivist help you today?
We, I think, need your help. Mordo said you're someone very wise who knows things, and we're seeking knowledge that very, very few people would have.
The best kind. Could I have any more detail?
Full cards on the table. We're seeking someone's true name. Someone of great importance.
Ooh, onomancy is always tricky. A true name. It's dangerous business. Dangerous business can be done for the right price.
What kind of price would that be to seek knowledge like this?
But I trade in knowledge. So knowledge of equal value, or multiple pieces should the value be too great. It depends on the quality of the name.
That's good. That's fair. We feel like we have some knowledge that is coveted and secret that we'd be willing to barter with.
Kind of looks you all up and down. I recognize you. I have seen you. Intriguing.
And
Where'd
we
you see us?
ask, Where?
Oh, I see many things with my eyes across this city and beyond. And I don't keep secret exactly where. But you are an interesting crew, I must say.
Appreciate that. We hope you liked what you saw.
I saw potential,
Happy to hear that.
and I saw much knowledge to be shared, and great treasures to be bartered with.
Potentially, yeah. For the right answer.
Well, let us speak upstairs. Come. Much more comfortable. private, and begins like kind of leading towards the spiral staircase.
I glance at Mordenkainen in a "we still good" look.
He kind of gives like a little like like this is a little different, but
Let's
Been
follow
500
upstairs.
years. Eyes fucking peeled, just trying to make sure there's no one else here. Very sketched out. This is the creepiest fucking person we've seen in a long time.
make a perception check as you're making your way up the stairs and kind of getting the hair on the back of your neck begins to kind of stand.
25.
Wow. For the briefest of moments, as everyone kind of begins to file, Mordenkainen will take the lead, and everyone begins to kind of follow suit of this strange jackal up these spiral stairs into the second floor. The light of the first floor dims ever so slightly as this creature like begins to go upstairs. Like the fire itself dims, and the candles that are kind of lit along the walls and on the table dims to a near gone ember. But as you're just about to go up from the desk that the creature was sat at beside this kind of cauldron, you recognize there's a couple of bits and pieces of there's a couple of beakers and things. There's like a small plate. There's a bunch of bottles with random alchemy elements in it. Books all over the place. Tucked in the corner, there's this kind of faintly dusty crystal ball that you kind of recognize, similar to the crystal ball that you have. But just as you pass up, there's this flash of an eye in it. That's how you see.
Being watched. I do say to everyone, I'm more than just gesture.
Say again, sorry?
I said, we're being watched. I'm more than just who's here, and I'll gesture.
See it through our mind link and point to it.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can say that mentally. Not sure if there's an alert out. Something to keep in mind.
Let's go talk to this guy and find out.
You hear as this continue, he gets up into the second floor, 10 feet, but the spiral stairs. You hear this little feet kind of padding about the upper floor as he's kind of shifting and moving things, and you can hear as you begin to kind of climb up, you see kind of pushing over stacks of books that kind of tumble off to the side, and opening old chests and rifling through, picking up a bunch of parchments and rolls and pulling and opening and then kind of shoving aside, and continually just like keep seeking something. And then finally seems to kind of find what he's looking for. And with both hands, lifts something heavy. You can see the back arches, and he kind of pulls up, and you can see this jet black stone. It's not perfectly smooth, it's not like bowling ball smooth, but it is spherical. You can see there's indentation that is smooth. It's almost like a massive golf ball, but it's not quite as spherical, a little bit oblong. But it is smooth in that kind of indented smoothness. That seems impressively heavy. It's like kind of hunched over trying to carry it over. And with one foot kind of swipes off a coffee table with a bunch of parchment and like a coffee cup and like sets it in the middle. It says, come. And he kind of sits cross-legged in front of it and snaps. And then all the lights dim. And from within this stone, you can see this pale green light kind of begin to emanate and just boom, boom. And just from this kind of underlit jackal face, his hands kind of steepled in front of his snout. Names are tricky, but names can be found if one knows where to look. I may not be able to provide the name itself, but I can certainly provide where it is kept. If it is as grave as you say.
That'd be helpful. We're really hoping to get it without having to go somewhere else. So we'll see what we can do.
We'll see what kind of name you provide, which request you make. If it is within my power to give and the price is right, then I will happily hand it over. However, not everything is within my power to provide.
I'll telepathically think to Mordenkainen. Any way to prevent us from being listened to right now?
He says telepathically, not that I have on me right now, unfortunately. Not at full strength post-cloning.
Archivist. The information we seek is important, but we need assurances that this stays between us all and no one else's ears.
What assurances would you like? My word.
Yeah. Is your word worth that?
My word is bond.
Then yes.
I swear to not relinquish your request to any who ask, other than yourselves.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Are there any others in your knowledge who can get that information on their own without you telling them?
Any information can be found one way or another. Apply enough pressure in one way, certainly things can come to light. Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
I see you may have a friend downstairs looking in on you. Anything like that in this room?
Oh, I have many friends. There are many eyes everywhere, but no eyes that we need worry about here.
Insight check. Okay. That is a 28.
It's difficult to really read. He's choosing his words carefully. That could have easily meant nothing in this room, or those eyes you don't need to worry about. And right now it's difficult to tell.
I'll say telepathically, we're taking a chance no matter what.
Archivist. We seek a deity's true name.
Ooh, a deity. Well, that is certainly trickier. Possibly far greater than I can provide. However, I will give it my all, and given that you ask such a great request with potentially deadly consequences, what do you have to offer in exchange for the name of a god?
We have knowledge of other dealings with other deities that might interest you.
Which deities and what kind of knowledge? Kind of deals?
We have knowledge of contracts bound with an archdevil, where a powerful wizard necromancer was using their aid to help with a rather ominous endeavor, and in exchange, all souls would be bound to this devil.
That is interesting, but not quite enough, I don't think. The name of a god is true power. I would need more than just that.
We have other knowledge of one of the most powerful wizards on the material plane who'd made a similar contract in keeping secret his wife and son. And in exchange for power, he made a deal for their souls.
And this
Also
deal-
have. Sorry, go ahead.
No, good.
They also have more first-hand knowledge rather than written contract knowledge of the necromancer spoken of playing multiple sides.
Which side?
Demons and devils.
That is interesting. That's information that could be applied elsewhere.
Upper. Basically almost the entire upper. Demons and devils.
And are you sole bearers of these pieces of information?
Only one other deity we know knows about it. Not deity, only one other person, being.
So relatively rare, but not exclusive.
Pardon me. Fern was squeaking a toy. What else do we got, guys? We got anything else? Trying to think if we have anything else we could barter with.
I'm like frantically flipping through my notes to try to see if we've learned so much shit, and I'm trying to think of if there's anything else that no one knows. Or very few people know.
We know about the dude Katha who was trying to like ruin, it's like not secret knowledge, but he was trying to like destroy the Feywild.
There's also ties to that through another layer of hell, but we've never really found out the information.
There's one half-hag, one of my uncles left, and his mom or grandma is like the devil of that layer, and she's like, what is it? Is she Malborg or something like that?
Hag Countess Malborg.
We don't know what they're doing though.
No, but they were making plays.
Like,
we have Hondo's soul. It's not worth a lot, but we have it. We have relics.
We know about Gambino, who he works for, but that anything getting too close to that topic could be concerning.
Are we having this talk amongst ourselves, or is he hearing us?
I think out of game.
This is
kind of out of game.
So, like, would he hear if we suggested ideas?
We're all staring at each other, thinking this to each other.
Oh, okay.
This is information you guys would have known in character, known in game, that like we've just played over 4 years. Like what all?
We have the Scourge heart.
Well, we don't have it.
Telepathically.
We don't have it on us. What was that, Hondo?
I say telepathically.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just say that we'll let this guy live if he gives us the info? That's the deal.
Why do you jump to threatening some, like, I don't even know how powerful this guy is.
Doesn't look powerful to me.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's a scary jackal, man. It's just like a dimly lit room with this like glowing black stone. Spooky shit's happening here.
Keep in mind as well, you could information was the primary element here, but you could offer items or other things.
Mm-hmm. Would soul coins help sweeten this deal?
Soul coins could go a long way. It is. How many are we talking?
I think it's 4, but let me check. These came from my uncle's stash.
What about information? Well, I don't know how important that is.
Yeah, 4 soul coins.
What were you gonna say, Leah?
This is out of game. We know, I don't know, I can't remember back how big of a deal this was at the time. Remember how when we were in the Abyss and Hell that they had, what's his face killed the head of the, we owed the like pit boss for the casino souls. And then, Gurex, and then we know who specifically had him killed, and that there was like some level of politics there. I'm trying to remember back 3-4 years ago now.
You made the deal with Moloch to have Gurex killed.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. There was some level of politics there. I just can't remember what it was.
It's not gonna age you here, unfortunately.
Okay,
Gurex
cool.
was
No, that's fine.
a pit fiend who had kind of fled the court of Zariel and had kind of like set up shop outside of her dominion. She would have happily taken him back and like punished him for that, but like he's dead. So
okay, no, that's fine. I was just trying to remember any time devil and demon politics came up, and that was one of the things I could think of.
The information you have that Carval was playing both sides is interesting because it is kind of useful to pit sides of the blood war.
Anyway, we can fuck over Carval a little bit. I think we're on board for.
Ultimately, there is a question that he does come back to. You offered the deal between the knowledge of the deal between Mephistopheles and Carval.
Mm-hmm.
There was a second layer to that, which I can't read my own notes, which is there was like an addendum that said something about Mephistopheles serving a dark. Can't read my own notes.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Me neither. But I know there was an addendum, and that was the part that the hag found more interesting.
I just don't remember what it is.
I know, and I couldn't write down word for word what it said.
Then you don't have it.
I can grab my notes and get it, but okay, one second.
I just don't know what the addendum was. Was the addendum just the book? Wasn't it just to get the book of Vile Darkness?
Maybe.
Pretty sure that's all that was.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head, though.
That sounds right, honestly.
Yeah, you're right.
Pretty sure the initial deal was to basically get the information that he could continue the search for the word. Pardon me. And then to get more information from that, got the Book of Vile Darkness. I don't remember if the deal was from any where the souls would go to Mephistopheles. I don't remember that element of the deal, but that's a long time ago I wrote all this.
Yeah, there was something about souls going somewhere. It was like a way of kind of getting around, like not having to go through reverse sticks or something like that. It was like a go directly to, but I can't remember exactly. I don't even know what other information we have or items, to be honest. That's something we could give up.
Well, we know all about like my hag brother, my hag uncle. He's with the Hag Countess of Malagog, 6th layer of hell. And that blah blah blah. Ring speaks to the wearer, heart blah blah blah. He waits, he watches. He sits in the 9 beside Malbarg. Yada yada yada. Farak. Farak is Honda's Mind Flare buddy, who hopefully we run into one day. Because there's a lot of unfinished business there.
Didn't you kill him?
Farak? Yeah, we did. No.
In the Golgotha fight?
Hondo killed him. That's how Whisper leveled up.
Really? That's so sad. I'll have to rewatch that episode because that's really devastating.
In the interest of moving things forward.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. The archivist kind of mulls over the information you have and says, your information is intriguing, though the knowledge of a true name far supersedes it, I would need some form of compensation in addition to these soul coins.
Would that compensation have to be knowledge or material?
If you have no further knowledge to offer, then I would require some form of item which I can use to barter for with others for more information. Something of great power.
Out of curiosity, in case this aids us in understanding what it is you're specifically after, what would pique your interest, what about what you've seen in regards to how you know us? Do you find so interesting? Or did you find interesting enough?
You have many connections. You have been across the plains. You are touched by many. And you have your threads intertwined with much of history in such a short span of time. That is interesting. And that story is not yet done.
Do you know the story of the storm and the flame?
I can't say I do.
Ragnar Stormborn in his beloved Castiel.
If you want to offer that up, that would be like location of a relic.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It says, well, we will take these 4 pieces of information, these coins, and we will see what we can find in the universe to seek the true name of whom?
Like, look at Asmodeus, like a Mordenkainen, look back at the jackal, and be like, the archdevil, Asmodeus.
The king himself. You have lofty goals. Well, let's see. And he begins kind of almost like massaging the stone. And as he does, it begins to kind of give way. And that energy kind of begins to kind of flow with the hand movement. And the black of like the stone begins to kind of envelop the hands, and it begins to kind of grow and almost like extending out in this sphere. And the room goes black. And that's where we're going to pick up next time.
Oof.
Oh,
Just before
boy.
we do,
Oh boy.
Mary,
No.
actually, yeah, Mary, you're the one to kind of get wind early on. As the room goes black, or just about, as you guys are all kind of sitting and waiting, unsure of what's about to happen, and this sphere of energy just kind of, Mary, you hear the ring of the bell of the door downstairs, and several sounds of feet stepping into the shop below. And that is where we'll pick up next time.
Oh,
Right.
God.
Hey, cool.
Oh,
What does
my
that
God.
mean?
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time as the Wildcards find themselves in an unexpected encounter with a very formidable foe. There will be a new episode up every Tuesday, so stay tuned. But until then, keep exploring.